With the series tied at 2 apiece, the Chicago Cubs take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. And now welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. The Hall of Famer John Smoltz is coming right up. Well, let's see what's happened over the last 24 or so hours. The Cubs came into last night's game having been shut out in games 2 and 3, and they went off. They came up with 10 runs on 13 hits. They even this series, and now they go back to their #1 starter tonight in Jon Lester. And in general, John Smoltz, the pitching matchup is really interesting to look at.
There's so much strategy when you think about it.
Because you're looking at Maeda, you're looking at Jon Lester, a rematch of game 1, and everything's hanging in the balance.
It really is. Two different strategies, but the same goal. Get to the closer, 6 outs. Who does that first? Well, Jon Lester has the ability to go 7 innings, possibly 8. He wasn't super sharp in game 1, but look for him to be more effective. He's been so good in the second half. His numbers are ridiculous. Only 1 loss that last game in Cincinnati. Jon Lester has the stuff and has the success against the Dodgers to do exactly what Joe Madden wants. 6 outs to Chapman.
And let's go to the next step. This is a race to the closer for each side. And when you talk to Joe Madden, he says he wants it to be a race of 1. He wants Lester to go 7 and hand the ball for 2 innings to Aroldis Chapman. For the Dodgers, different story. Same plan at the back end of the bullpen.
Yeah, when you start a game like this in the postseason, you never think that the first, second, or third inning you'll be looking over your shoulder, but I think that's what Dave Roberts has got in plan. He's got his bullpen ready. Kenta Maeda, if he can give him 3 or 4 innings, that would be unbelievable. More pieces to get to Jansen. Look for that to be the case. And the Dodgers try to create chaos for Jon Lester.
How about this? When an LCS has been tied 2 games apiece, the team that wins game 5 has won 9 of the last 10 LCSs. A lot on the line here tonight before we go back to Chicago. Tonight, game 5 on FS1. How much can change in 24 hours? How about the psyche of an entire city? After the offense was shut down in game 3, anxiety, fear, and doubt crept into the minds of Cubs Nation. But after the bats exploded for 10 runs in game 4, a rush of euphoria, joy, and relief swept back over the city. What words will describe tonight? It's game 5 of the NLCS. Yes, as we join public address announcer Todd Lights.
It's time now for the words that are recited before each and every game here at Dodger Stadium. Please welcome back to the field Dodger greats Eric Karros and Steve Garvey. Take it away, fellas.
Dodger Stadium night. You have been the 10th player, the wind beneath the wings of this franchise all through the decades, and you're going to do that tonight. Eric, we usually say something else, don't we?
Well, we say something, but I think there's a man in the house that's better suited to do it. Take it away, kid!
It's time for Dodger baseball.
The Hall of Famer and a national treasure, and one of the most important figures in the history of this game, Vin Scully, with a surprise for the fans here, for the players here, for the umpires and the other broadcasters. How in the world, Smoltz here, we're going to sit here with him down to our left. We're inside the Vin Scully press box. Vin Scully sat behind the microphone for this organization for 67 years. And it came to an end here in 2016. 88 years old and as strong as ever. Let's go down to the field and check in with Ken Rosenthal.
Joe, the changes in the Dodgers lineup stem from their season-long struggles against left-handed pitching. What they're trying to do is stack the hitters with the best chance against Jon Lester at the top of their order. Kike Hernandez batting leadoff. He could distract Lester if he gets on base. Carlos Ruiz batting cleanup. He's 0 for 16 with 4 strikeouts lifetime against Lester, but he did hit the ball hard twice against him in Game 1. And finally, Adrian Gonzalez. He's batting 6th for the first time since June 2012, but Dave Roberts envisions him potentially coming up in a 2-out RBI situation. Now, for more on how the Dodgers plan to attack Lester, here's Tom Verducci.
Thanks, Ken. Well, you can boil down that game plan to one word: disruption. The Dodgers want to exploit Lester's trouble throwing to bases 2 ways. Number 1, expand the lead off the bases. Dodger coaches gave the players a 20-minute video tutorial of how the Milwaukee Brewers did that. And number 2, show bunt early and often in counts. Bench coach Bob Guerin told his players when they did that 10 times in Game 1, Lester threw only 2 strikes, and it also forces the middle infielders and corner infielders to play in, sacrificing range. So, Joe, let the gamesmanship begin.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these 2 starters get along tonight. You've got a 19-game winner in John Lester, and you've got a right-hander in Kenta Maeda who has hit the skids here over his last 4 starts. Here's the Cubs lineup: Dexter Fowler, then Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo. Their numbers to the right, what they've done in this postseason. In the middle, Zobrist, Baez, and Hayward. Addison Russell went deep last night. David Ross catches John Lester, who pitches and bats ninth. Glad you're with us. Glad Vin Scully is down to our left. Off we go in game number 5. Ball 1 outside.
Well, for Maeda, that's an important pitch to get. He has to live down in the zone. He throws a sinker and a 4-seamer. I'd like to see him throw more 4-seamers against the Cubs.
That will get out of play for strike 1.
But that's easier said than done. He has not had a lot of confidence in his fastball in general. Most of his action pitches and the result of at-bats are going to come with off-speed, primarily the slider and the changeup.
First year pitching in the United States. He's in the first year of an 8-year deal. A tremendous performer in Japan, pitching for Hiroshima. But there is more rest between starts in Japanese professional baseball. Here's a 1-1. This one up the middle, and a good start for the Cubs. Fowler is on to start the night. Dexter Fowler gets his 6th hit of this series. Checks on the center fielder, Jock Peterson. Jock has got Howie Kendrick to his right. Yasiel Puig to his left. Around the infield, Turner, Seager, Kike Hernandez, and Adrian Gonzalez. Carlos Ruiz, a longtime Philadelphia Philly, picked up from the Phillies in season in a deal between the Dodgers and Philadelphia. He's in that important spot trying to get Kenta Maeda through this start. Here's Bryant, ball 1 low. Just to finish on that September. Is he running out of gas? That has to be asked. First 4 starts of September, Maeda was great. 3-1, ERA just over 2, opponents hit just over 200. But there are the last 4 starts, an ERA just under 10, and the Dodgers have lost all 4 of them. Bryant, 2-0.
Well, what happens is you can't force velocity, and he was already unhappy with 2 of the pitches so far. It has to be natural, and to your point, Joe, I think you can leak a little bit and try to create a little bit too much when you're when your tank's getting empty. And there you see the pitch just outside by a fraction.
Bryant did not have a hit in last night's game, but he reached base 3 times. Count in his favor here, and as always, for coverage of this game in Spanish, please tune to Fox Deportes. Game 5 travel day tomorrow. Game 6 on Saturday. Hendricks and Kershaw. 2-0. High drive in the air to left. Back into the corner with room is Kendrick. 1 on 1 out, and Fowler retreats to first.
Ball was up there a long time. You see not much wind, but he gets back in plenty of position and then comes in. Just to show you what kind of year it's been for the Dodgers starters and what kind of year it's been for Maeda. He led the staff in wins, in innings, in starts, in strikeouts. Now that is always reserved for Clayton Kershaw, and of course his injury did that. But just the fact that when they didn't sign Greinke and they were able to sign Maeda and not know exactly what they were getting, they got a solid year.
And 16 wins. 0-1 this postseason, lost in the divisional round to the Washington Nationals. No decision in game 1 of this NLCS. That's down and in ball 1 to Rizzo, who broke out last night. 3 for his last 3 after striking out in his first 2 at bats, changing bats. The one that belongs to Matt Caesar, who's not on the active roster. We hope to talk to Matt during the game tonight. And after that, went homer, 2-run single. They got their big guy back. 1-0.
There's that changeup. That has got to be a pitch. He's going to have to be effective if he's not commanding his fastball or getting the corners. You see the changeup grip, great arm action, and Rizzo out in front.
There you go from game 4 with Caesar's bat better than with his own. So whose bat do you think he has in his hands right now? His. Caesar's. 1-1 pitch. Instead a check on Fowler, who has a small lead. This is not a Cubs team that's going to run a ton. They don't really manufacture runs. They just slug. They had the 5th highest total in home runs in the National League. Hit 199 during the regular season. Last night hit 2. Runner is going, and that's down into the corner. Fair ball. Fowler flying to third. Fowler coming to the plate. Rizzo 4 for his last 4. And the Cubs lead 1-0. The bat of Matt Caesar, and another hit off the barrel of it.
Yeah, he throws a breaking ball, and you see how much he stays inside, does Rizzo. And you can tell the difference of 4 at bats now versus the whole postseason.
And I know the bat's a cute story, but it's not the bat.
Right.
He's getting better swings. He's seeing better pitches. He's swinging at strikes. But Caesar says, whatever I can do to help out. You want my shoes? Take it all. 1-0 Cubs on top, and the batter will be Zobrist. How about Rizzo on fire and a breaking ball in for a strike?
Well, this happened in game 1 for Maeda in Chicago. Got off to a rough start and then kind of battled his way and kept the team at the 3-run mark. But I don't think the leash tonight is going to be very long if Dave Roberts reads that he is not effective in keeping the Cubs batters off balance.
How about this stat? The Chicago Cubs are 46-13 when Dexter Fowler gets on to lead off a game. They're winning at a 78% clip when their leadoff man gets on, and now he's come around to score, running on the pitch, and that allowed him to score easily on the double by Rizzo. 1-1 strike on Zobrist. 2-1. Ben got the 4-run rally started last night in the 4th inning with a bunt base hit. 0-0 game. He got a base hit. Baez a base hit. Contreras an RBI single. RBI ground out, then a 2-run shot by Russell. And that would be all the Cubs would need in game 4. They won it 10-2. And now Ruiz will go out and talk with Maeda. Home plate umpire tonight is Alfonso Marquez. First base, it's Ted Barrett. At second base, it's Bill Welke. He started this series in the replay office in New York. Eric Cooper Gary Cedarstrom is the left field umpire. The crew chief and Angel Hernandez worked the plate last night. He's out in right. Paul Nauert, who umped the first 2 games on the field, is in New York. 2-1. 3-1 with Baez on deck.
Well, with confidence, you know, the Cubs start controlling the strike zone, and what I mean by that is they don't expand it. They're taking the pitches that are balls and they're swinging at the ones that they want in the last game and a half. And for Maeda, he has to control the strike zone, meaning he's got to have it in his favor to be successful.
A walk the first of the inning, and trouble for Maeda continues.
And what I mean by that is he doesn't have the stuff that he can come back in the count and actually get a lot of swing and misses. He relies on the finesse. His fastball command, you can tell at times he just doesn't have the confidence to trust that he can pitch to contact with his fastball. So it almost is a show pitch, and he's utilizing the curveball, changeup, slider as more of the weaponry that he would like to get hitters out on.
Baez has had a great postseason. Javier is hitting .333, 4 for 14 within this series, 10 for 30 in the 2 series so far. And this is a key spot for Chicago with their ace left-hander John Lester on the mound. How big will this inning be? Right now, just 1 run on the board.
Let's go Baez! Let's go Baez!
Baez takes a ball. Maeda snaps at it as he gets it back from Ruiz, and there's some angst in the big crowd here at Dodger Stadium that will get bigger as we go, as people fight the traffic to get into this ballpark. Not liking what they're seeing so far.
No, and for Dave Roberts, a keen eye on how long before the phone rings. I know that sounds crazy in a first inning, but this is a swing game that you have your ace pitching tomorrow.
2-0.
You got to stay in this game as long as possible and create that same feeling that you can give Clayton Kershaw an opportunity to close this thing out. It's just because of him, there's so much drama. It's such a weird game because everyone wanted to talk about should he have pitched today and then come back in game 7. Either way, Maeda was going to pitch, and they chose to pitch him here at home.
Baez unloads on a 2-0 pitch, and this is where the advantage of the Cubs, who have a deeper rotation. They go 1 through 4. They got through the division series clean, so they didn't have to use Lester twice, so they were lined up. The Dodgers didn't. They're not as deep in the rotation. They had to use Kershaw 3 times in that series, so they came in a little backward and had Clayton for game 2, and now they'll have him for game 6 on Saturday.
But to give you more perspective on that, no starts of 3 days rest for the Cubs, 3 for the Dodgers, as you mentioned, 3 on regular turn for the Dodgers, only 1 for the Cubs. 5 days, twice for the Cubs, and 6+ days, 6 times. So that's how fresh their starting rotation is, and the Dodgers have had to squeeze as much as they can out of a smaller core of guys.
Counts 2-1 with 2 on 1 out, a run home. There's a strike, 2-2.
See, and that's the 4-seam that I still think has some life on it. He loves that 2-seam movement, but it gets too lateral. There's the 4-seam grip. There's the rotation. And you can see it surprised Baez to where he couldn't catch up.
Lead runner is Rizzo. Trail runner is Zobrist. 1 out. 2-2 pitch. Got him on the outside corner. 2 out.
And again, another great pitch. You got the benefit of the call, okay, but that 4-seamer holds the plane a lot more. The general rule, 2-seamers are going to be movement. 4-seamers are going to be more riding pitches, stay on the plane that they're thrown at. Baez says I wasn't going to be able to hit it either way.
That was a big pitch for Maeda to get that call on a ball that looked outside to Baez. And instead of a 3-2 count with 2 on 1 out, it's 2 on 2 out for Jason Hayward, who has 2 hits this postseason. One of them against Maeda, and that's outside ball 1.
Yeah, he got a triple. He got another rally going for the Cubs. A good matchup for Hayward is Maeda, and the way that he delivers the ball and the way that Hayward likes the ball to be hit.
Hayward pops it up back behind the plate. Out of play.
Well, you mentioned what Fowler does for the Cubs. We came across an interesting stat here. When Jason Hayward scores a run for the Cubs in the second half, they were 22-2. Overall 46-8.
It's a big position down toward the bottom of the lineup, hitting 6th with just 230 during the regular season. First year of a big contract that has an opt-out clause in it for Jason Hayward after signing from St. Louis. Came up with the Braves. Here's a 1-1.
Speaking with the Braves, I remember Chipper Jones saying in spring training when he first came to big league camp, the sound off the bat of Jason Hayward was unlike any other sound that Chipper had heard. And certainly he's took off in his career with 22 homers. But then he had some injuries, and certainly the getting drilled in the face is not anything any hitter ever wants to have happen to him.
2-1. In at the knees, 2-2.
You see the guard that he still wears right there, protecting that jaw where he had his jaw broken.
Crowd's back. Shattered bat. That will go foul. And a break for the Dodgers as that had spin on it to take it off the grass and across the line.
Yeah, that was pretty funky the way he's throwing a curveball, so you see the spin. It had to be right off the end of the bat, and that's exactly the way it was. Splintered it. And this ball, usually when it gets off the grass, will, depending on what kind of team you have, will be depending on what kind of grade that dirt.
Flashback, John was talking about it. 2013 is just hard to watch. And that's why he has that protection on the right side of his batting helmet. Looking for a big hit for Chicago. Maeda looking for his way out of the inning.
Sometimes previous at-bats will change a pitcher's mindset and what they want to do and keep them from going to the formula of getting somebody out. So that triple that Jason Hayward hit may still be in the mind of that fastball that he threw in Chicago. Breaking ball right there, hung over the middle of the plate. Jason just pulled it foul.
Two-two. Struck him out. Maeda and the Dodgers will take it. A run was home. There were 2 on with 1 out, then back-to-back strikeouts. And after a half, in Game 5, Cubs lead 1-0. Putting his mind and his game plan together for this start, could not have possibly expected this lineup. It is a much different looking lineup. They start with Kike Hernandez, and right on cue, there he is squaring around showing bunt. Trying to get Lester flustered, but it's Hernandez, Turner, Seager. Carlos Ruiz batting cleanup, then Howie Kendrick, Gonzalez batting 6th, Yasiel Puig, Peterson 8th. The count's 2-0, again showing bunt. It's what Tom Verducci talked about before tonight's first pitch. Show bunt because Lester doesn't like to field his position, throw to first, bother him when they get on the bases. Here's a 2-0. 3-0.
Well, normally when you look at a lineup card, you know what guys have numbers against you, but I'm sure that John looked at this lineup card and circled the guys he could not afford to get on base because of speed.
A 4-pitch walk to Kike Hernandez. And that's the game plan of Dave Roberts and the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah, and another game plan is he never really put consecutive left-handers together to give John Lester an opportunity to wiggle through some during his lineup. So 2 righties, a lefty, 2 righties, a lefty, a righty, lefty, and then to pitchers. So I think there's all kinds that goes into construction of your lineup, but more importantly, to your point, he wants to create the most chaos he can.
14 straight times Justin Turner has reached base safely in a postseason game. The key phrase, make John Lester uncomfortable. Again, showing bunt and finally a strike. John Lester does not like to throw to first. Because of that, look how far Hernandez is off the bag. This is as much a mind game as it is a baseball game against Lester.
Well, I mean, you have to, because he's had tremendous success against the Dodgers.
Ball 1.
The only thing you worry about if you're on the base pass with that tremendous lead you can get, and if you don't go, you got to be wary of the back pick. And you saw Ross right there come up firing. They've been able to do that on several occasions.
StatCast powered by Amazon Web Services. Joe Madden, Chris Bosio, Mike Borzello, anybody who can get John Lester to listen, has told him, do not worry about the runner at first base. Let us worry about it. Let David Ross behind the plate worry about it. Get the hitter.
I'm amazed more guys aren't going, though. I just don't understand. It's one thing to make somebody uncomfortable and add value to the guy at the plate by seeing better pitches. But the reality is he's not throwing to first. You get a big enough lead, you go on first movement, and you create the stress at second base.
A strikeout and a big out for Lester. The one way Lester and Ross can combat it to a certain degree is you look at the strikeout pitch. He gets a fastball by him. Is Lester's relatively quick to the plate and Ross can still throw. So it won't matter if a guy's got a 30-foot lead over at first base, but they are a good tandem in that regard.
Well, and that's why if you get a big lead, you got to go. If you get a big lead and don't go, it doesn't serve the purpose. It's only bringing in that back pick that you talked about.
Seager strike 1 and down to a knee he goes. Let's go down to Tom Verducci.
Yeah, down here, Joe, it almost sounds like a Little League game. The Dodgers bench alive every time that Hernandez showed bunt and every time he danced off the base, trying to get inside the head of John Lester.
The 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. A walk, then a strikeout. And now Seager with Ruiz on deck.
I still maintain it won't do anything to John Lester. That dancing over there does nothing. You've got to show you're willing to steal. Once you steal, now it does something.
That's into left center. It will drop. Fowler comes up ready to throw, and Hernandez holds it second. 2 on, 1 out.
reason I say that is it's very difficult, based on the numbers he's had against the Dodgers, to string 3-4 hits in a row. So if he's standing on second base and creating the stress at second base, that base hit scores a run. Until somebody has the guts to get the lead and steal, it's not going to have a great effect, as people think, on John Lester.
Well, they're the career numbers for Ruiz against Lester. 0 for 16 for strikeouts. He's been hit once. He's in the cleanup spot tonight for the Dodgers.
Now that's a huge lead at second base. That's a lead that you need to go. Second base is where you can distract a starter. At least that's where I always felt like I had more concentration on making sure that stealing third base, which is easier, especially with a right-handed batter up, Ross having to throw around the batter.
I mean, they're giving you an out if Lester would throw, but he doesn't feel comfortable. That's a ball. Tight strike zone tonight. Ruiz with a count 1-0.
Yeah, it certainly has seemed that it's no lenient either side. Lester has better stuff to live in the strike zone than does Maeda.
Lester stares in, and Ross is going to visit. Meanwhile, just something to file in the back of your mind. Corey Seager, with his first big swing, he went down on a knee. He ends up getting a base hit as he floated one into left center. Watch him when he gets around first. Keep an eye on that. 2 on, 1 out, 2-0 the count on Ruiz. Foul. Good play down the line. Wow, what a catch.
That short hop saved somebody.
That's why you come to the game sleeveless.
Out there, you're going to see her carrying a glove.
What a play.
Oh, he had his eye on it the whole time, too.
And he trapped it. 2-1 the count. 2 on, 1 out. Cubs lead 1-0. Ruiz. That was called strike 2. A little bit of a delay in that. Ruiz talks to Alfonso Marquez.
Yeah, I thought it was the umpire that said outside. I think Ruiz said outside.
You heard the same thing I did.
Yeah.
So the count 2-2. 2 on, 1 out. High fly ball into right. Hayward backpedals. Kike Hernandez will end up at third with 2 out.
I'm just telling you, until they start taking those bases that they're giving them, you make the whole at bat change. That fly ball could drive in a run. You're doing more service to your teammates by being able to get a base than to distract John. So it'd be from this point on, if the right guys keep getting on, you got to take the base, in my mind, if you're the Dodgers.
Inning falls to Howie Kendrick with runners at the corners, 2 out. Veteran infielder, outfielder, longtime LA Angel. That is a fair ball. Bryant, inning over. And after all that, the 19-game winner, John Lester, puts up a 0. 1-0 Cubs after 1 in Game 5. S1, tonight's telecast, presented by T-Mobile One. Beautiful night. It's warm, 93 degrees here on the 20th of October. Game 5. Series tied 2 apiece. Here's Addison Russell. What a night he had last night. 3 hits, a 2-run home run. Scored twice. There is not much leeway in this strike zone, save for 1 pitch to Javier Baez.
Yeah, and Maeda has made a decision to stay breaking balls with Russell. First game, all breaking balls except for 1 fastball.
Ball 2.
I just think sometimes a pitcher, even though you got to establish your fastball, and he did a better job there wiggling out of that first inning, blowing some fastballs by the Cub hitters. You got to show you got confidence in it.
Russell sitting on a pitch. And it was not a 2-0 fastball. That bends in for strike one. Good pitch by Maeda. David Ross will follow, and then the pitcher, John Lester. That's foul.
But that hesitation that Maeda has, when you're in timing, you don't get underneath pitches. When you're out of timing and your rhythm is not where it needs to be, that little hesitation, you start dipping. You start getting underneath the baseball. It starts having a lateral loop in it, that slider, instead of turning the corner. And every once in a while, he's gotten away with some fat ones over the middle of the plate.
Two. Got him looking good, breaking ball, one away. Strikeout number 3 in a row.
When you see this kind of unorthodox motion, watch the front shoulder. If it stays lateral and goes to home plate and doesn't dip like it does in this pitch, everything's pretty good right there. And then he'll have that late break and spin that the hitter doesn't recognize. And the game plan was the same: sliders, sliders, and sliders to Russell.
Now David Ross. Kenta Maeda was a terrific pitcher in his homeland of Japan. I mentioned the Hiroshima Carp. 8 pro seasons. Ross, strike one, went 97 and 67, an ERA of 2.39 in 218 games. And the 2-time winner of the Sawamura Award, which goes to Japan's best pitcher.
He's definitely trying to get accustomed to the style over here. On the rest he gets between starts.
Japan, the starters pitch 1 day a week.
Yep.
So you're the Tuesday guy or you're the Friday guy. And this season, Kenta, in his first year with the Dodgers, made 14 of his 34 starts on the regular 4 days rest. 20 with 5 or more days. 1-1. Yeah! In at the knees. Strike two. Two and two.
Well, one thing he's going to have to do a little better job of is pitch to the guy on deck a little better than he did in game one. He walked him twice. So with this part of the lineup, Ross would love to get on base to have his partner behind him be able to bunt. But Lester with 2 walks off of Maeda in game one.
Just missed in a full count.
These are great pitchers' pitches. Might have been a little low, and you could see that Ross at the last minute, it's too late outside.
With 1 out, Ross hammers one foul. The 39-year-old out in front of it.
But they just look great when you're out on the mound pitching. I'm just telling you. You look in there, you look, you're trying to. You just see it such a distorted view because you're not finishing in a perfect place, and you go off of the catcher. If the catcher's glove doesn't move, you think it's a strike, and if you don't get enough of those, you got to go in and tell your catcher, hey, you're too far off the plate. I need you more on the plate.
Looked like Ruiz was intent on the fastball away, and Maeda wouldn't go for it. So after a while, David Ross steps out. 0 for 3 in game one. 1 for 9 this postseason, but it was a home run. Outside for a 1-out walk. It'll bring in John Lester.
I know you got the luxury of the pitcher coming behind you, but you really want to face the pitcher, and you got to make Ross do something via the hit. So now John more than likely is going to bunt right here, and Turner will be in, and Gonzalez will charge as the pitch is being thrown.
Lester did have 6 hits during the regular season. John mentioned the 2 walks in game 1. He's 0 for 2 so far this postseason. Playing it straight, showing no signs of a bunt, taking ball. Now the Dodgers don't know what to do. Turner backed up a couple steps at third. Gary Jones goes through the signs, the third base coach for Joe Madden. In the air to left. Back is Kendrick. 2 out.
Must have liked his BP or something. Interesting approach.
The batter will be Fowler, who singled and scored his first time up. Give you that stat we said at the end of our opening, that when an LCS has been tied at 2 games apiece, the team that wins game 5 has won 9 of the last 10 series. And add to that Kershaw looming in game 6. So here are the Cubs. If they're going to win here tonight, the best Kershaw can do on Saturday is force a game 7 if he shuts him down. On the other hand, if the Dodgers win tonight, they have Kershaw going to the mound trying to end it and send them to their first World Series since 1988.
That's why this game's so intriguing. This game right here will be played for the Dodgers like the 7th game of any series. He will not allow any scenario, that is Dave Roberts, to not utilize his bullpen with the day off tomorrow. He'll treat it like an elimination game.
2 good friends there. Bobby Valentine on the right. Tommy Lasorda, the 89-year-old Hall of Famer who has 2 world championships and a gold medal to his credit. And it was good to see Tommy here yesterday. And back again for game 5. The 2-1 pitch now to Fowler.
There you go.
Inside corner, 2-2.
Really trying to mix it up against Fowler. Changeup might give him a little problem. Off speed, looking for the fastball. Fowler not afraid to get 2 strikes on him.
Maeda off the mound. Inning over. Gets around the 1-out walk to Ross. Gonzalez, Puig, Peterson coming up for the Dodgers, down 1. John Lester will go back to work. 6, 7, 8 hitters for the Dodgers. 1-0 Chicago. Gonzalez, Puig, and Peterson. Even Gonzalez is showing bunt and slashes at it, fouls it away. It's an epidemic in this lineup. That's what they're trying to do to John Lester. And I know we've probably already worn it out, but just remember, they're trying to keep John Lester uncomfortable.
Field the ball or make a throw. And this all started really a couple years ago in the wild card game. That incredible comeback by Kansas City. It exposed something that really hadn't been known for a while, and then all of a sudden in one game with all the stolen bases coming over to the National League, John had to deal with this ever since. And he's done a much better job this year because the focus has been don't focus on it. Let us deal with it, as you mentioned.
The guy's a fantastic pitcher. 19-5. Second highest win total in the league. Second best ERA. He's tough. He's a front end of the rotation pitcher. He's won in the World Series before. He's battled cancer. He misses inside. He came up in 2006 and he was diagnosed with lymphoma in late August. Came back at the end of 2007 after rehabilitating his body and getting into shape. Went 4-0 and then was the starter and winner in the Game 4 clincher in the World Series at Colorado while with the Red Sox. Counts full on Gonzalez.
Well, with Gonzalez at the plate, you can know he doesn't run very well. You see Baez well over 150 feet in short right field. Anything on the ground.
StatCast powered by Amazon Web Services. In for strike 3.
Right field.
And Gonzalez talks to Marquez on his way back to the dugout. 1 out.
Well, the goal of any pitcher is to continue to put pressure on the batter and home plate umpire. If you throw it in the same general area enough, you might get a call or two.
Yasiel Puig has been swinging the bat better. Last couple of games has 3 hits. 1 last night and 2 at bats. Had 2 the night before. And starts against the lefty with a 1-0 count.
Yeah, he does seem a little bit more in control at the plate.
Got a ton of power as he takes down and in 2-0. Yasiel still hit 11 home runs, but as we've talked about earlier, he was going so poorly the Dodgers sent him back to the minor leagues second half of this year.
Yeah, he was a guy that was definitely anxious at the plate, jumping at the pitcher. Pitchers exposed some weaknesses and he was having a hard time adjusting.
Come on, Puigie!
Count in Puig's favor. Gets under it into center. Dexter Fowler, 2 out. And the batter will be Jock Peterson. Junior Home Run Derby allows kids 14 and under to compete for the National Home Run Derby Championship. The 2017 All-Star Game. Sign up today to host a free competition in your local community at jrhrd.com. Jock Peterson has been a big boy home run derby competitor.
I just got that. That was the initials for what you just read.
So good. You're so on it. Wow. Despite the energy dip that comes with a Game 5. Well done, John. Peterson in this series 3 out of 15. Shows bunt. Here you go. Throw to first. A bounce and the out. And any way he can do it, and Lester stares at the Dodger dugout on his way off the field. It wasn't pretty, but it was effective. Rizzo handled the back end. 1-0 Cubs. From Los Angeles, California, home of the Dodgers. Weather is terrific. A little bit hot, but that's all right. Hollywood, Capitol Records. Got agents and script writers and directors and actors in the audience tonight. Sun about to set. The temperature will drop down as Bryant swings through a pitch from Maeda. Strike 1. Well, it's Chris Bryant up now, and then Anthony Rizzo and his borrowed bat on deck, and then Ben Zobrist. There's Matt Caesar. You've lost your bat, my friend. I know you're dying to be on this roster. First of all, you had a really good year in part-time duty for Joe Madden, but I guess any way you can help out, Matt, you get to do it. In this chance, it's with your bat.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, I'm here for the team, and I want to contribute as much as I can. If I have to lend a bat, that's what I'm going to do.
1 ball, 1 strike on Bryant, who flied to deep left his first time. Strike 2. Now, is this the first time that Rizzo has dipped into your supply of lumber during the season?
You know what? It's not. He's done it quite often. He's done it 30 home run and 31 home run in Milwaukee. So He's done it quite a few times.
Here's a 1-2 to Bryant. Fouls it straight back. It looks like you've done some work to that bat, too. That doesn't have your typical handle on the bat, right? What is that?
Yeah, I asked him if he wanted me to wrap it for him yesterday, and he gave me the go-ahead, so that's what I did for him.
Nice. You have to take some pride in seeing your bat go to work like that. The guy's 4 for his last 4.
Yeah, no doubt. I wrapped one for him today, too.
This one's fouled out of play off to the right. Now, are other teammates coming up to you going, look, it's gotten Rizzo going? I mean, what can are your socks in this game somewhere? Your shoes, your hat somewhere?
You know, what's funny about that? The first thing today, I'm locker mates with Addie Russell, and he said, Cease, make sure you give me a shout out because I wore your underwear yesterday.
Oh, come on.
I swear, he wore my leggings. He left his leggings in Chicago, and he asked for a pair, and I gave him.
And he broke out, too.
Yes, sir.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Bryant. A strikeout. That's number 4 on the night for Maeda, who's trying to bounce back after a slow start to this one. And here comes Anthony Rizzo and his stolen bat to the plate. Matt, what's the mood down there in the dugout? That's more important than the borrowed bat, whether it's your bat or somebody else's bat. Rizzo's got his swing back, but what's it feel like down in the dugout right now?
Yeah, I mean, the mood's always great here. Joe keeps it, nice and relaxed, and we got the ace, Johnny Lester, on the mound, so everybody's excited, and we gotta run early, so we're feeling good right now.
First pitch to Rizzo. Flied into left center, slicing to Kendrick. Your bat has made an out, Matt. Hey, thanks, buddy, and thanks for the information on Addison Russell. The underwear last night, but that's it, right? We have no other surprises for Game 5?
Underwear and the bat, that's it.
South Jersey, shout out to South Jersey.
Yep. Yeah, South Jersey, Villanova, Be the Match, Bone Marrow. Shout outs to everybody. Hi, Mom. How you doing?
There's Matt Caesar. Thanks, bud.
Thank you.
Matt Caesar, good player. And a terrific teammate. It's like the Cubs library. You want something, go borrow it.
Oh, you'd be surprised how many times in a clubhouse that happens. It's pretty unique. I remember one time with the Braves, Willie Harris was struggling, and Andrew Jones said, if you go 5 for 5, you got a Rolex. And it started with a giveaway bat. He used a giveaway bat.
No,
yes, he did. And he got himself going. He went 5 for 5. And the next day, the Rolex was in his locker. I used to use guys' bats until I broke one, and then that was it.
With 2 out, nobody on. The 1-1 to Zobrist is in the dirt, 2-1.
And the reality is, some guys are going to get better bats than the others. Pitchers don't ever get,
The big hitters get the best.
Oh yeah,
look.
absolutely, absolutely.
Zobrist is 3 for 15. Does not have a home run this postseason. Rolls one foul right side, 2-2. And Maeda's kind of gathered himself back together, and he's put a couple of good innings together, with the exception of the 1-out walk to Ross in the second.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that fastball, he's going to grow more confidence, and then he can mix in the change of speeds that he likes to make. Hitters have their action count, either a strikeout or an out on an off-speed pitch.
Strikeout number 5. Bottom of the 3rd inning rolls in. Maeda will lead it off. It's a 1-0 Chicago lead. Lester, Maeda, Game 5. The 9-1 and 2 hitters for the Dodgers, down by 1. 3rd inning, Maeda. He's going to show bunt, takes a strike.
Yeah, Lester's got to get back to pounding first pitch strikes, especially if this is what they're going to do.
Maeda had a base hit in Game 1, but it led to an out at the plate, as Adrian Gonzalez was thrown out in that tight game that was won in the 8th inning. Crazy night at Wrigley. That's off the pitcher, Lester. Russell shows the arm. Got it. 1-6-3 on the putout.
Tell you what, Maeda was getting down the line as a pitcher. You know, he hits this ball right up the middle, and then right about now he starts putting on the burners, thinking I might get a single out of it. But you mentioned the arm of Russell, really, really good. Right about there. Thought maybe I got it. No.
I would say that deflection worked out for the better for John Lester. Here's Kike Hernandez, walked his first time on 4 pitches, and he is totally fooled on that pitch.
Well, normally, you know, you would never talk about stats like this, but this postseason has been so unusual on how the formulas for teams have been getting it done. This next stat becomes pertinent. When teams are leading after 3 innings, think about that. We would never talk about that before. In the postseason, they're 16-3. That's how much between the Cleveland Indians, the Dodgers, and of course the good pitching of Chicago, it means to have a lead after 3 innings.
Hernandez pops it up right side. Rizzo. In one way, it's kind of been a throwback to eras gone by with how closers have been used this postseason.
Right.
We've seen that with Kenley Jansen. We've seen it with Aroldis Chapman back in the day. And I think you think about a guy like Goose Gossage, Al Raboski, guys would come in for more than 1 inning, 2, 3 innings at a time. On the other hand, it's kind of a new way that they're using the starting rotation because it's the quickest of hooks, and this middle relief has been so good that Andrew Miller was the MVP of the ALCS, bridging the gap to the closer.
Right, and back then they were trained to do that. Regular season just carried over into the postseason. Now you're asking guys to do something totally different because it's a postseason, and we're playing it completely different than we would a regular season.
Lester slipped after that pitch. Count 2-0.
Sure, Lester's pretty glad that the sun has gone down. When he was warming up, and by the way, warmed up for a long time, over 30 minutes, his bullpen was in the heat, the sun, the entire time. Maeda warmed up 1/3 of the time to get ready for his start tonight.
2-0. Big swing by Turner, who, as we've detailed already in this series, hits much better against right-handed pitching. Count in his favor, though, here 2-1 with 2 out, nobody on.
And even though he has not had success against Mr. Lester, he's got an on-base streak in postseason going that he would like to continue. So would the Dodgers.
2-1. 2-2 as Lester threw it right by him.
Lester's been going after him just with fastballs, beating him with fastballs in most of the at-bats. Drop a curveball here, looks like.
Full count. And David Ross got nicked by that one. This is it for David Ross. He's been a fan favorite. He's been a media favorite. Gonna hang it up at the end of this season, and that, well, picture's worth 1,000 words. Full count on Justin Turner. Struck out his first time. Foul. And a dent on the end of that foul ball. Official caps, hoodies, jackets, and more. Celebrate your favorite team with the latest postseason gear at MLBshop.com. Left side, in the hole. Russell can't make the play. And a 2-out hit for Turner.
Breaks the snide off of Lester, off his career, and also extends that on-base streak in postseason play. Russell, even if he comes up with it, even with his great arm, I don't think there's a decent chance he would have been able to throw out Turner.
15 consecutive games in the postseason now. Justin Turner has reached by hitter by walk. It's #1 all time in Dodger history. And he's the tying run here in the 3rd inning. Here's Seager. Dangerous pitch, and Seager put a good swing on it, fouled it back, flipped a base hit into left his first time.
Remember, Seager started off in the postseason against the Nationals, 3 hits in the 1st inning, and then went through a little slump and then picked it back up earlier in this series and looks a lot more comfortable at the plate.
3-hit game 2 nights ago. Inside corner, strike 2. That was just about a perfect pitch with Seager right on top of the plate.
Seager, just such an imposing figure for a shortstop, but that's the one area you can tie him up. Pitcher's pitch.
Turner with a big lead. He has stayed put. There he goes. No throw, stolen base. And they finally go.
I mean, to go with 2 strikes is one thing, but to go earlier and give the hitter at the plate an opportunity to do something with a favorable count, but at least they win.
Ross didn't have a chance. Now a hit ties it.
Boy, has Lester been so stingy with 2 outs in runner scoring position on the year.
Seager. Everybody started to walk, and Lester has to come back. Let's take a look. And you can see why.
And that's a front door cutter, lefty on lefty. You throw it at his front hip, you try to catch the inside part of the corner. Lester thought he had it, Ross thought he had it. So did Joe Madden. 0-65 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. That's how much he has been able to bear down Lester and make pitches when you need him most.
Well, he just made a pitch, didn't get the call. Now the count's 2-2. Runner at second, the tying run, 2 out. Full count.
I tell you, it's so difficult, and he's doing the best job right now trying to hold his composure. When you feel like you've made the perfect pitch against a great hitter and you start walking off, you've got to rally and block that out of your mind. He knows that Seager's their best hitter, and so when you feel like you make that great pitch, and Ross is going to go out there and just reaffirm.
Here are the last 2 pitches. That was called ball 2. And that was inside, clearly, for ball 3.
The temptation I would have if I'm Ross is to expand the zone away and try to throw a slider or cutter away after pounding him in.
And Lester fired up after the strikeout as he gets the better of the rookie shortstop. The ace of this staff pumped up with a 1-run lead after 3 in Game 5 of the NLCS. Has set. Off we go into the 4th inning. 1-0 Cubs. Baez strike 1. Kenta Maeda was bending in the 1st inning, didn't break. Got a big strikeout against Baez with 2 on and 1 out and a run already home. Then struck out Hayward. And since then, he struck out 3 more. He's walked 1, no hits. Since the 1-out RBI double by Rizzo in the 1st, a ball and a strike.
Yeah, he's done a nice job, and for Dave Roberts, you can't be happier in knowing that that was all he gave up was 1 run. Keeping this game into the 5th inning close. It will then be a bullpen game for the Dodgers.
Baez, then Hayward, then Russell. Two and 1. That is Ted Barrett. He will have the plate on Saturday night at Wrigley Field. And that matchup of Clayton Kershaw and Kyle Hendricks.
Must see TV Saturday.
Be electric. This already is 2-1. Baez shouting at himself 2-2. Let's go back to that last pitch of the 3rd inning.
Well, sometimes when you miss location and you miss in the right spot, it has a good result. There's the slider, the cutter, sorry, down and in. He was trying to get it down and in. It went down and away, and you could tell both guys had different reactions. After thinking in conscience, Lester got the ball away and a big strikeout.
With a tying run at 2nd. That's down the line into the corner. It is fair. Baez digging for 2nd with a leadoff double. Just stayed fair and just stayed in the ballpark. Another hit for Baez, his 5th of this LCS.
Hanging curveball. Ball was starting to hook. Now Jason Hayward will do his best to try and get him over, get him in.
Second time the Cubs have put the leadoff man on. They did it in the 1st and scored with Fowler on a hit by Rizzo. Now Hayward, who's 0 for 1. 1 for 13 in this LCS. Foul.
Maeda right there did him a favor. Throwing a curveball is probably one of the easiest pitches to pull, and you see Hayward all over it. Looping curveball up, and the game plan is to pull it, but he pulled it foul. You see Ruiz gives his sets of signs without fingers. He's going to touches, and those touches represent different pitches.
Good pitch. Come on now, Blue.
1 ball, 1 strike. .49 RBIs in the regular season for Hayward. In the hole here, 1-2. Good pitch by Maeda.
Yeah, great changeup right there. That ball dropped a considerable amount at 82 miles an hour. Coming off the fastball. There's the changeup grip. Tremendous rotation downward. Now, much like last night, Hayward, big RBI on a pitch down. Got the ground ball to the right side of second base.
And that hits him. 2 on, nobody out. It'll bring in Addison Russell. And we'll bring Ruiz out to the mound.
Well, that'll also get the bullpen, I would think, going for the Dodgers. You see the fastball trying to get it up and in, and he got it in, but The Cubs don't bunt too often in these situations, especially with Ross and the pitcher coming up afterwards. So I would expect Russell, in his approach and newfound confidence after getting a few hits yesterday, looking to be swinging the bat.
It's interesting that the guy who's up is Josh Fields. And we asked Dave Roberts about Fields, who came in last night, faced 2 batters, Baez and Contreras, and struck them both out, came right after him, and I think told Dave Roberts by his actions, you can count on me. And the hard throwing right-hander who was traded here from the Astros is the first man up. 2 on, nobody out. The batter is Addison Russell. Struck out his first time.
A lot of sliders, as we mentioned, has been the approach. Maeda attacking Russell.
Maeda spun around. They're trying to see if Russell's going to show his hand here, if he's going to square around a bunt. The Dodgers are pinched in on the corners of the infield.
Yeah, he didn't show any signs at all. Typically that's what a pitcher will do, just to see if there's a movement with the barrel of the bat.
Good pitch down and away. Strike 1.
Problem as a hitter, if you go up there knowing a guy's throwing you a slider and you sit on it and he throws you a good one, you're not hitting it. It might expand the zone even more. You got to really try to look over the middle of the plate and think height more than the sweep of the pitch. Fortunately for me, I couldn't hit anything over 90 miles an hour, so they did me a favor by throwing sliders. That ended quick. Never saw one again.
But we've heard hitters tell us in meetings in this series alone, just because you get the style pitch, the type pitch, still got to make sure it's a hittable pitch, and sometimes you get too anxious, and Russell went after one there. 2 on, nobody out. Strike 2. Maeda has struck out 5. A strikeout here would be big.
He's got great spin right now on the slider against Russell. Sometimes certain guys get up there and you get locked back in with a pitch. You have confidence because you've had success against that guy.
Russell has seen 7 pitches, 5 of them sliders tonight. Lays off this one for ball 1.
That's a great pitch too. That's where you want to start it. That's where you want it to end up.
Addison Russell, the young shortstop, he's only 22. Drove home 95 runs during the regular season. Big night last night. Strikes out here. Maeda made some pitches there. 1 away. 6 strikeouts for Maeda. None bigger than this one.
They're all in the same. See how tight that slider spin is right there? Creates that small red dot. I know you're sitting at home probably thinking, how can a guy keep swinging at that pitch in that area? Well, easier said than done, recognizing you cannot see the spin when it comes out of the hand thrown properly. And you never really want to get off the fastball or get beat by the fastball.
Well, now the big at bat with Ross up and the pitcher Lester on deck. Ross walked his first time.
Ross has been aggressive early in counts, trying to cheat on the fastball. See what Maeda throws him.
Ball 1.
Get him. Come on.
Get a ball middle into Ross, fastball. He can still buggy whip it and hit it over the left field wall. He's hit some big home runs in the game that Lester has pitched.
He popped 10 home runs during the regular season.
I'd love to get a hit here.
Good speed on for Chicago. 1-0. 2-0.
He's had such good success with his slider, has Maeda. In 2-0 right here, I would think that's the pitch you go to if you think Ross is going to be aggressive and try to attack the fastball here on a hitter's count.
The old vet digs back in. David Ross. 2-0 pitch. Lays off. Ball 3.
And he went with the slider. That's his field pitch. That's what he likes to go to. And he throws this on the outer part. Thought maybe he had a chance to catch part of the strike zone, but Ross lays off.
What are you doing here? 3-0.
Well, the pitcher's on deck, and in the playoffs, this has got to be a slider for me. I'm not giving Ross the opportunity 3-0 just to take a chance. He swings on a fastball.
3-1.
You can't take that chance. I mean, these runs are too precious. And there is a base open, even though we never traditionally think there's a base open. It just happens to be third base. Now you can pitch backwards a little bit. You've put the thought in Ross's head that you've gone 3-0 slider. Now you could sneak a fastball maybe by him and play that game. That's what I miss most. I miss most the cat and mouse games, the getting through a lineup more than once, executing the pitches under the gun. That's what Maeda has to do right here to keep from a big inning happening.
Cubs lead 1-0. Ross grounds it foul, a full count.
Well, he went with the slider, and now it'll be up to Joe Madden. Does he trust Ross to be disciplined enough to send the runners knowing that Lester's on deck?
Maeda trying to get around a leadoff double and a hit batsman. Struck out Russell. It was 3-0 on David Ross. Now it's full. Runners stay put. Fly ball into center. Peterson to his right. 2 out. And Maeda has done some pitching here. And now Dave Roberts is going to come out of the dugout with Lester coming up. And he's going to go to the bullpen. And Josh Fields will get the call. As he did in the first inning. Maeda. He did bend, he did not break. 2 on, 2 out. Fields coming in. Lester coming up. Moves back to Wrigley Field for a pivotal Game 6 between the Dodgers and Cubs. A matchup of Kershaw and Hendricks. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern only on FS1. Watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Maeda is out after 3 2/3. 2 on, nobody out in this inning. 2 on, 2 out now, and with a pitcher coming up, AT&T call to the bullpen brings in Josh Fields.
Josh Field, real good fastball curveball combination. They're going to like his velocity against Lester, who's gotten better as a hitter but had good at bats off of Maeda.
Ball 1 high. You surprised by this move here in the 4th inning by Roberts?
Not really. I felt that 4 innings would be the most he was going to get out of Maeda, and I think he squeezed the best he could get. He made some clutch pitches to this point, and he's going to take this guy who has 95 in his arsenal and a curveball and just end the threat, not let Lester at all possibly even put the ball in play.
Lester drove home 6 runs during the regular season. Counts 2-0.
Plus the other thing is he gave him a little wiggle room if he doesn't come in firing strikes, right? There's a base open, so if you're going to bring him into a situation with the pitcher up, let him get himself locked in. 6 spots away from pinch hitting anyways.
Left-hander Grant Dayton for the Dodgers gets up. Here's a 2-0 to Lester. May have chased ball 3, 2-1. There's Dayton. In case there's more trouble. Let's see where this one was. That was up and out of the strike zone as well.
Yeah, Lester was cheating, had nothing to lose. 2-0 hero right there, and he was a little mad at himself. Hey, Ruiz and the pitchers are having a hard time with the length or the delivery of the signs, taking a long time to get on the same page. Now more traditional signs.
2-1. 2-2. Into left center, slicing to Kendrick. Inning over. And the Cubs don't take advantage of the leadoff double and the hit batsman. Bottom of the 4th inning rolls in. Dodgers will bat down 1. Bottom of the 4th inning, 4, 5, and 6 hitters for the Dodgers. Ruiz, Kendrick, and Gonzalez against Lester, 1-0. Strike 1 from Lester. Cubs have stranded 5. At first and second, nobody out in the top of this inning did not score. High fly ball into left. Zobrist back to grab it. 1 out. And Ruiz is 0 for 2. The most outspoken duo in sports talk is now on FS1.
Tomorrow, we debate this crucial Game 5.
Skip, the Cubs, and the Indians are both trying to end their curses.
And Shannon tries to end his curse of bad NFL picks. Undisputed, 9:30 Eastern.
And there is Shannon Sharpe and Joy Taylor, and happy to have those two as part of the Fox family. Skip not here tonight, at least in the good seats down there. I'm told Reggie Jackson a special guest coming up on Undisputed. Here's Kendrick. That'll be tomorrow. Howie 0 for 1. Grounded out to third with 2 on back in the first. This one's down the line. Zobrist gets to it, but it's a 1-out double for Kendrick.
Hit a changeup, pulled it by Bryant. Kendrick's speed certainly enough to get an easy double. Lester's been so amazing so far in the postseason. Bend but don't break in Game 1. Has yet to be behind, and he's done his best pitching when he's been ahead during the regular season.
Tying run at second, 1 out for Adrian Gonzalez, who struck out his first time.
even though the left-handed batter's up and it's an easier throw for Ross to Bryant at third, he's getting such a big lead.
There he goes. Throw down is in time. Kendrick says he was safe. And we'll have another replay if the Dodgers clubhouse says challenge it.
Kendrick's thinking the tag was high, so we'll find out if it was high when he got into the bag. But a huge lead, maybe not the greatest jump, and you see the tag, and then of course
he's safe.
He gets to the bag.
Hand on the bag. Glove off the body. Clearly safe, and I know we've gone down this path before. Here's the jump. Kendrick said challenge it immediately. He knew. Left hand on the bag. Tag is late.
Tell you what, the helmet got in the way where he couldn't see where the base was, but you see him trying to avoid that tag with the late slide.
The crowd has seen it. Here's the call. Overturned. And now the tying run 90 feet away for Adrian Gonzalez.
And the Cubs are going to choose to play the infield in. Gonzalez, probably one of the best hitters in the universe, with being able to make contact. So they're hoping he can make contact on the ground.
And to be clear, that stolen base is because of the lead. Howie Kendrick able to get way off the second base bag because Lester does not throw to bases unless he absolutely has to. Stolen base the result. Gonzalez grounds it foul.
He's hit 400 in these situations, only struck out 7 times with the runner on third, less than 2 outs. 32 at bats, 30 RBI, so pretty good ratio.
The 2-1. Strike 2. Lester has struck out 3. One of his victims was Adrian Gonzalez.
Wow, this is an unbelievable outside corner fastball, change of an at-bat pitch. And what I mean now is Gonzalez has to look and lean in that area a little bit more and make that a conscious effort to not expand the zone. That's hard to do when a guy's painted away.
Game summary is brought to you by Michelob Ultra. A tight Game 5 with the series tied 2-2. Anthony Rizzo an RBI double in the first. The Cubs have missed other scoring chances. Lester still in the game. Kenta Maeda, the starter for the Dodgers, is out of the game. Did a good job of holding the Cubs to just 1 run. No hits yet with runners in scoring position for either side. 2-2. Here's Bryant, can't make the play. Tie game. 2 out. Kendrick scores to tie it at
1. Great pitch. Gonzalez gets it in play, and you see that Rizzo, in order to field that ball and properly throw it to home, he has to turn his body and try to turn as he's fielding the ball, looking to see what's happening with the runner. Obviously easier for a second baseman if he's in position, but nonetheless, they got the out, and the Dodgers tied the game.
1-1 in the fourth. Bases empty, 2 out. Here's Puig. Ball 1. The big lead by Howie Kendrick after the leadoff double. And the veteran then took off. Stole third. Initially called out. The call overturned. And then the RBI ground out by Gonzalez. 1-0. 2-0.
So even with the infield in, the Dodgers had the contact play, which means as soon as it's hit, the runner takes off and gets the biggest jump he can. Gonzalez did a great job just getting the bat on the ball and creating an opportunity.
Puig. Ball 3. Let's go down to Tom Verducci.
Yeah, let's remember how Howie Kendrick got on base. Chris Bryant, the third baseman, was playing in. Normally not a bunt situation. 1 out, nobody on base. Howie Kendrick does not have a bunt hit in 2 years. But remember the fielding troubles of John Lester. They have to defend the bunt because of the pitcher.
And he shot it past Bryant at third. There's a strike. 3-1 on Puig. A run home, 2 out, bases empty, 3-1 pitch. Popped up on the infield. Addison Russell. Top of the order will bat for the Cubs. Lester has given up a run on an RBI ground out. Initially called out, call overturned. Kendrick, a double, a steal, a run scored. Back where we started. Tied through 4, Game 5. Fifth inning, good game. Game 5, tied at 1.
I think Josh has 2 more hitters with the lefty up. If anybody gets on base when Rizzo comes to the plate, you'll see another pitching change more than likely.
Josh Fields came on last inning. This is inside here. Ran the count to 2-0 on John Lester with 2 on and 2 out. And Lester swung in a pitch that was up. The result of the at bat was a fly out to left. Dodgers have seen the Cubs strand 5. There's Deaton getting loose. 1-0 pitch to Fowler. To the right side. Gonzalez feeds Fields. 1 out. And Fowler's 1 for 3 tonight. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by T-Mobile One. Welcome to Unlimited Baseball. And by Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who go the extra mile. Chris Bryant is 0 for 2 tonight. Last night was 0 for 2. Had 2 hits here in Game 3.
Mentioned fastball curveball combination for Fields. The only thing you can't do against Bryant, you leave a curveball over the middle of the plate. His swing path and the way he attacks and lifts the ball, just got to make sure it's down.
Ball 1. Bryant flied to rather deep left his first time, struck out. Maeda will not get a decision in this game. Fields, the first of, you would have to believe, many out of the bullpen tonight for the Dodgers. 1-0 pitch. Jammed. A ball and a strike.
Dave Roberts is just counting outs, and there's going to be a lot of interruptions if he has his way with the amount of pitching change and matchups he can create out of the pen. Knowing that day off tomorrow, he can do as many things as he wants.
There's a 1-1. That's well hit into center. Back is Peterson. Turns. Can't make the play. Turned the wrong way, and Bryant is going to hold at second with a 1-out double. Peterson couldn't recover. That ball was crushed, however.
And that's what I'm talking about. Hanging breaking ball in the middle of the zone, and that's going to be it for. You cannot leave a ball up, breaking ball. And he's lucky this ball stayed in because he only went to the deepest part of the park. That tells you how hard that ball was hit. It changed directions. But this is the swing path that made this guy one of the best power hitting third basemen in our game. And the location is you cannot leave that ball right there. I think Josh knew as soon as he let go, even though Peterson did the best he could to try and track that hard hit ball.
With Anthony Rizzo coming up, Grant Dayton is coming out of the bullpen. Lefty on lefty, scoring chance for the Cubs here in the 5th inning of a tie game. That ball was smoked into center off the bat of Chris Bryant. He would get my vote for MVP for 2016. And he is standing at second, representing the go-ahead run with 1 out here in the 5th. And Grant Dayton, what a year it's been for Grant Dayton. Made his major league debut in July, went back down, came up for good in August, and here he is with a tied NLCS and a tied Game 5, facing Anthony Rizzo. Ball 1.
Huge moment. And he'll be relying on that 4-seam fastball for Anthony Rizzo. Of course, he stands on top of the plate. And he invites you, just daring you to throw 3 of them anywhere near to perfect pitches. He'll bank on you making a mistake and taking advantage of it.
3 RBIs last night for Rizzo. Has the only RBI tonight, and that's not close for ball 2. Joe Blanton getting loose. The switch hitting. Ben Zobrist on deck. But right now it's Dayton and Rizzo. Advantage Rizzo with a count 2-0. Rizzo. Oh, big swing down on a knee, 2-1.
Yeah, that's a great pitch inside. There wasn't much he could do with it. He tried his best to get out in front of that inside fastball. But as I mentioned, he'll tip his hat to you if you can do that 3 times to him. Preferably, if you've got 2 different pitches as a left-hander, slider, curveball, you better go to the curveball over the slider. He stays on the slider a lot better than the curveball does Rizzo.
3-1. Cubs trying to get that run right back. Full count. Rizzo led the team that won the most games this year with 103 wins. It was 109 RBIs. Hit 32 home runs. Hit 292. 4 for his last 5 at the plate. Strikes out. 2 down.
Well, one of the few times of the last 5 at bats that he's missed a pitch down. They looked for it up. And Rizzo missing on the pitch away. That's 2 different at bats by 2 different teams. They were intending to go up, missed away at a safer spot and got the result.
But Zobrist, who does not have an RBI in this NLCS. Switch hitter turns around to bat right-handed. Dayton battled back from a 2-0 count to get Rizzo. Go ahead run at second. Javier Baez on deck and Joe Blanton out in that bullpen.
Well, this is what Dave Roberts would like to see and get out Zobrist, but if the count gets away from him, then you're definitely going to see, if he reaches first, you're going to see Blanton face Baez. So he's protected either way, but he sure would like to get Zobrist out here and then worry about Baez later.
That's down again, a 2-0 count. Zobrist won a ring last year with Kansas City, such a big part of their success. First year of a free agent contract, so valuable to play anywhere defensively, in essence. Drove home 76 during the regular season, just 2 this postseason.
Well, the other reason too is that puts Dave Roberts in a position of whether or not he wants to double switch if he brings in Blanton. The pitcher's up second. Puig made the last out.
Zobrist swinging on 3-0. Three and one.
Well, they thought so. Throwing a breaking ball there high. Madden might have said a little high for his liking. There's the high breaking ball, and give or take.
If you're Zobrist, you get a chance to drive in the run now with a count 3-1 after that pitch. Called a strike. And if you're Dayton, you have a chance to get out of the inning. Double by Bryant. He's out at second, 2 out now. Cubs have already stranded 5. Full count.
The way he's pitched him, everything would scream if you're Zobrist thinking, I gotta have breaking ball in mind right here. The way that he has been pitching him, even though he went 3-1 fastball.
That's into right center field. Puig there in and over. Dave Roberts' bullpen doing the job. Puig a good jump, caught it head high. And this is a 1-1 game halfway through game 5. John Lester back to work in a 1-1 game, bottom of the 5th. Jock Peterson, strike 1.
Well, Lester's approach tonight has been primarily fastballs. Of the 62 coming into this inning, 47 have been either fastballs and then 12 cutters. He's definitely been on attack, and he would like to throw strikes against the guys that obviously can give him problems on the base paths.
He offered at it. Strike 2. Andre Ethier on deck. He'll bat for Dayton. In the right situation. Dayton follows Fields You have to believe Blanton is next.
Well, Dave Roberts got what he wanted. He didn't have to double switch, and he can have a clean pinch hitter and Blanton for as long as he wants.
That misses for ball one as Peterson showed bunt again and pulled back with 2 strikes.
Well, Brian had backed up with 2 strikes, and now has to at least consider it that he's willing to do it. But I think John Lester was more concerned about where was that pitch.
Dodgers have shown bunt 10 times against Lester. So it's Peterson, then a pinch hitter, then Kike Hernandez.
So many different gamesmanships going on both sides.
Peterson just stepping out, trying to break the rhythm of Lester. Shows bunt again. 2-2.
This game we knew starting out was going to have the intensity of an upper hand, especially if you're Chicago. You've controlled your home turf, but you'd much rather control it up 3-2 with Kershaw going in game 6. Having a 1-game lead versus him having a chance to close it out.
2-2. Hard hit. What a play by Baez. Caught it, throws it anyway. And it's a good thing because the second base umpire said he trapped it. 1 out.
It almost looked like he wasn't going to throw. Baez was pretty convinced he had caught it in the air. This ball is absolutely smoked, and he did catch it in the air. Or at least he thought he did.
Let's take a look.
Close. That would have been an interesting one.
Looked like he trapped it. Didn't matter. He threw on to first and got the out. Peterson 0 for 2, and the batter will be Andre Ethier.
Ethier hit that fly ball to left field that everyone thought was an out, but the wind was blowing out off of Lester, and the home run, the lone run, Lester gave up in 6 innings.
Strike 1 on the inside corner. Because of the starting lineup, the bench for Dave Roberts in this game 5 is the switch hitting Grandal. The rest of the extras are all left-handed, and remember, Aroldis Chapman is lurking down in that Cubs bullpen and would go 2 innings if the Cubs led after 7. That's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Blanton still getting loose for the Dodgers in their pen. Good fastball from Lester. Strike 2.
So the philosophy of the Dodgers, you're asking every guy to come out of the pen for short stints and have their best stuff. The reality, that's worked. The probability, it doesn't always have your best stuff. For a guy who's in the game like Lester and plenty of rest and didn't exert himself with 70-some pitches last game, he has a better ability to stay locked in longer. So there's the battle, the philosophy of starting pitching that the Cubs have employed, and the battle of the pen that the Dodgers have had to have because they haven't had the depth in starting pitching. Which one of them is going to work out?
But I think as we sit here right now, Dave Roberts is thrilled.
Oh, absolutely.
He got past Maeda in this matchup against the Cubs ace, and it's tied in the 5th inning with his team at bat. And 2 out in the inning. Strikeout number 4 for Lester, and he's pitched another good one. We said it coming into the game, and it's what Joe Madden told us. He said this is a race to the closer on each side. Kenley Jansen for the Dodgers, Aroldis Chapman for the Cubs. Joe Madden said, I want Lester to be the one to get the ball into the hand of Aroldis Chapman. Nobody in between. He wants 7 out of Lester, Chapman for 2. If that situation presents itself, here's Hernandez Ball 1.
Well, he's had plenty of rest, so that won't be the issue. One way or another, Jansen's going to be in this game unless the game totally gets away from the Dodgers.
He's a closer who has been lights out for LA all year. 1-1 on Kike Hernandez, who's 0 for 1 with a walk and a pop-up. Hit 7 home runs during the regular season. Fooled there. Strike 2.
That's a pitch that's been giving him problems. He's almost coiled, ready to hit any kind of fastball. It looks like he's ready to turn. See how he gets that foot down? He's got the bat way up and then opens up, looking for fastball and reacting to a curveball, not getting it, of course.
Reminder, Game 6 is on Saturday night at 7 Eastern on FS1. Another 1-2 from Lester to Hernandez. A look at the umpire, a look at the dugout, and back to work with a 2-2 count.
And I'll tell you, with all that's transpired for Jon Lester tonight, he has shown more patience than normal because of all that's going on the other side with the Dodgers trying to do and some close pitches at the plate.
Got him. And Lester has struck out 5. Jon Lester doing his thing. Baez will start in the 6th in a 1-1 game. FS1 tonight's telecast is presented by T-Mobile One. Good game, tied at 1, 6th inning now. Baez first up against the 4th pitcher of the night for the Dodgers, Joe Blanton. And he greets him with a base hit into center. Baez stays hot. He's 2 for 3. He draws a throw, and he's on to start the 6th.
Last time these two hooked up, I think that was in Baez's mind. He threw him a slider. He popped up in a situation in Game 1, which ultimately led into the grand slam. I think he went up there looking slider and taking it right up the middle. That's the only way right there. Have a game plan to execute it. And you see, he's always got all kinds of energy.
So again, the Cubs have their leadoff man on. They've done that 3 times tonight. Had a leadoff double from Baez in the 4th inning, could not get him across, and here's Jason Hayward.
Hayward bunted in the San Francisco rally, back to the pitcher hard, and then the double play throwaway led to the run. Turner, not for sure, he's not going to bunt at the edge of the grass.
Hayward has been hit by a pitch tonight and struck out. Two career sacrifice bunts for Hayward, in case you're wondering, and for Jason, 1 for 13 in this NLCS. Ball 1 from Blanton. Joe Blanton has been a huge piece to the season-long puzzle for Dave Roberts. Longtime starter. Reinvented himself in the bullpen here with the Dodgers. And I don't think they'd be here without what he's done this season. He's been busy this postseason. That's inside. The count's 2-0.
Yeah, they definitely wouldn't be. He made one really bad pitch. Obviously, that grand slam, the slider from Montero. Well, other than that, they wouldn't have gotten through that first series, or like you said, through the season. He's been valuable. Former starter, multiple innings out of the pen.
Runners going, swing and a miss. Double clutch by Ruiz and a stolen base. A big steal for Javier Baez, who's right in the middle of the action again.
Gets a really good jump and then a double clutch. Couldn't get the ball out of the glove. Could release and easily gets to second base.
Good job there by Seager to get the short hop to keep the ball on the infield, and there's the double clutch. Hayward swung. It's a 2-1 pitch. 3-1. So you wonder if that previous play was a hit and run. Whatever it was, it worked to the Cubs' advantage as Ruiz couldn't get a grip. Hayward with a count in his favor. Addison Russell on deck. Full count as it looked like Hayward was taking all the way with a count of 3-1.
Well, it's not for sure he's going to get a fastball here. You saw the slider in by his foot. You see not much done with runners in scoring positions tonight.
Combined 0 for 11. Hayward trying to break that. And Ruiz out to chat. Our T-Mobile 1 in-game box score for the Cubs. See, the only guy with a multiple hit night is Baez, and he's standing out at second with nobody out. And it bears repeating that with Kenley Jansen lurking out there for more than 1 inning, Roberts is not scared to bring him in even in the 7th. There's a tight window here for the Cubs to try and score. A strikeout on a bad ball down and in, and Hayward's troubles continue. Does not advance the runner and had the count in his favor, 3-1, and swung at ball 4.
Well, I said that slider back foot. That's exactly where he went. When you're trying to handle a fastball and you're trying to get the barrel of the bat and get out in front of it, that's what happens. You swing over sliders. And now I think the interesting play would have been what would Madden had done first and second with Russell up and Ross behind him. I think there would have been a great chance of a bunt here and a pinch hit for Ross. But now he's hoping he gets a hit.
Strike 1 on Addison Russell. That was a big at bat and a big comeback in that at bat for Blanton. As Hayward, who got the start, Joe Madden had the option with Contreras in the outfield, but he stays with Hayward. 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts tonight. The 0-1. High fly ball into center. The shortstop Russell. A big one. 2-run shot. 3-1 Chicago in the 6th. Biggest swing of that 22-year-old's life, and it's 3-1 Cubs in the 6th.
Well, he's seen nothing but sliders out of Maeda, making a slider away. And the first pitch was a slider. At some point, he was banking on the pitcher making a mistake.
And now David Ross with the bases empty, 1 out. Boy, that ball jumps off his bat. And the Cubs have been waiting for that, and they have seen back-to-back nights with 2-run home runs by their young shortstop Addison Russell. The 0-1. Strike 2.
Well, just like I said, coming out of the pen, you're asking everybody to be perfect. This slider was less than perfect, and it looked like it might have even crossed up Ruiz. He's looking fastball away, and that slider middle of the plate. And Russell told us going the other way has gotten him better locked in, staying on the ball.
There's Ross into left field. Might be extra bases. Will he test Kendrick? There he goes. Here's the throw. It's a double.
Pitcher.
It'll bring up Lester. It'll bring us back to the home run.
He told us earlier, when you're pulling off the ball, you can't do that, right? When he started his stroke going the other way and feeling good, staying on the ball, he stayed completely square right there and took advantage of a mistake. And now Ross, he's picking him up and putting him down, but the route he takes to get to second, a good throw would have put him in trouble.
Breaking ball into Lester for a strike. And Ross at second's trying to catch his breath, and Addison Russell's going to go down the steps and try and catch his breath after that moment here in Game 5. Lester 0 for 2. Gets under it and skies it into left center field. Kendrick, 2 out. We had a chance to talk to Addison Russell before tonight's game. Kenny Rosenthal let him in on what he said.
You remember, Joe, back in Game 3, he went 0 for 2, flied out in his second at-bat to right field, and it was an 0-2 count. But he said that's the swing he had been waiting for, and he carried it into yesterday, just as John said, going up the middle, going to the opposite field, and now look at what he's doing.
Well, now you've got David Ross at second, 2 out. Off the end of the bat, Seager out to get it. And Joe Blanton at the end of this big year has allowed 3 home runs in this LCS, including the grand slam in Game 1. But this one, a 2-run shot by Addison Russell in this tight game. 3-1. Cubs into the bottom of the 6th. Well, we'll see if the Dodgers can respond. Now down by 2. 2, 3, and 4 hitters against Lester. Turner, strike 1. Justin Turner singled and stole a base in the 3rd, struck out in the 1st. Frustration for Blanton here tonight with a 2-run shot given up after a big strikeout of Hayward. 0-1. Strike 2.
And see, that's what I was saying. I mean, everyone expects the guy to come out of the pen and always be sharp and always be great. And I think that's the one thing that you run the risk when you keep flipping a lot of relievers in there. Blanton has been really good, but the 2 sliders that have ended up being a big problem were a 2-run homer and now a grand slam earlier in the series.
Lester brings it home on 0-2. That's in the air to right. Hayward is there. Got a good jump. 1 out. In case anything starts against Lester, Pedro Strop is up for the Cubs in their bullpen. Like we said, with the Cubs at the plate, same story with the Dodgers, in that Aroldis Chapman is lurking down there for more than 1 inning. So a tight window for the Dodgers to get some scoring done here as they trail by 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And if the wrong guy gets on the base that could create a big inning, you might see that change being made. A guy who could steal. We've already seen the stolen base come into play.
Ball 1 low to Corey Seager. Seager 1 for 2. You had to like the Dodger game plan coming in against John Lester. They squared around and shown bunt 12 times. Here's a ground ball. Rizzo threw him into right. And the Dodgers will bring the tying run to the plate.
This ball just took a nasty hop right in between and ate him up. Top spin and by him.
Now it's Carlos Ruiz.
You know, on the course of the season, I've always been on pitch counts and how overrated they are because not every pitch is the same. Jon Lester has thrown 84 pitches tonight, and I would venture to let you know that the tension and pressure of those pitches feels more like 104. He's grinded through it. He's had runners on base. That's why pitch counts throw him out. You got to be in the moment and read your pitcher and what he's getting through.
We're only in the 6th inning. There's a breaking ball for a strike. So all the stolen base stuff and the dropping a bunt down, if you want to do it, is still in play, especially for a guy who's hitless in his career. In this case, Carlos Ruiz against Lester. And Seager with a big lead over at first, daring a throw over. Why do we keep talking about this? Well, Lester has thrown over to first 3 times since his 2nd start in 2015 against Cincinnati. Longtime Boston Red Sox left-hander came to the Cubs. The Cardinals stole 4 bases off him in his first start. He threw a ball down the line against the Reds in his 2nd start. And he's thrown over to first 3 times since then. The last time he's thrown over was July 24th of this year at Milwaukee. That's why these Dodger runners have been jumping around and able to get massive leads, as Kendrick was able to earlier in the 4th inning, and he scored on an RBI ground out after a steal of 3rd. Here's a 1-1.
But as I said, and as we've talked about, the Dodgers wouldn't even have a run if they didn't get a stolen base at third base and Kendrick. So the likelihood of getting 2-3 hits against Lester, he has been so tough on the year. He doesn't give up many hits. That's why you got to make the most of whatever opportunity is out there.
See if Seager goes. Pop up on the infield. Foul territory. Ross, a basket catch against his body. 2 out. Here's that throw over. Last season, his 2nd start with the Cubs against the Reds. And he threw it down the line. He's thrown over to first only 3 times since then. And here's the catch a moment ago by David Ross, as he had to trap it against his body. Here's Howie Kendrick. Strike 1. Kendrick with a double with 1 out in the 4th inning, stole 3rd, and then scored on the infield ground out by Adrian Gonzalez for the only Dodger run.
Brian is back now, guarding the line, preventing the doubles. Earlier he had to play in, and the changeup that he threw to Kendrick, he hit down the line for that double.
Seager daring the throw over. Strike 2 on Kendrick. Through all these distractions, Lester has pitched extremely well.
He's been grinding. I mean, every inning it's been a grind, and he's gotten it done.
Dangerous foul ball into the Cubs dugout. And that chases Coughlin off the bench.
Ricochet got somebody. You can see him rubbing his back. It went off the wall. Hit somebody standing up in the back.
1-2 the count on Kendrick. Howie this year hit 8 home runs. Tying run at the plate. 6th inning. What a game. It's just such a mental thing. If he could trust himself to step off and throw over, he's out of the inning.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't trust himself to do it. One, 2. 2-2. Breaking ball fouled away.
See, the problem is, and as big of a lead, and maybe you're thinking it's in his head, you're not going towards second base when the throw is being made because you're worried about the back pick, unless it's a 3-2 count. And that was one of the concerns that Dave Roberts had. You know, being a 2-2 count, you still have to be worried about that back pick. And that's the problem. The back pick's coming from the catcher to the first baseman.
2-2. Struck him out, and the inning is over. A one-out hit by Seager. And Lester is through 6. And the Cubs lead it 3-1. In Los Angeles, as we go to the 7th inning of Game 5. 2-run game. 3-1. Chicago on top. Blanton back to the hill. Chris Bryant jumps on the first pitch and fouls it. Bryant, Rizzo, and Zobrist. It's Blanton on the mound now. It's the left-hander Avalon in the bullpen for Dave Roberts. Bryant doubled with 1 out in the 5th inning and then was stranded. Difference in the game, the home run by Addison Russell. That's strike 2.
So far, the only kryptonite for a right-handed reliever, according to Bryant, is a changeup. So a right-handed pitcher changeup to Bryant he struggles with. That's what Blanton started him off with, and then went with a slider. Now, this guy covers so many pitches and so many quadrants. You have to be really, really good to continuously get him out. Slider coming up.
Right now, the Chicago bullpen is quiet. They've had Pedro Strop throwing, but right now, after Lester got through the 6th inning, no action down there. A strikeout on a changeup. 1 away. Talked about the 3 home runs Blanton has given up. The pinch hit grand slam by Miguel Montero in Game 1, and right after it, before the fans had settled back into their seats at Wrigley, Fowler went deep, and now Addison Russell on a hanger to make it 3-1 last inning, and that's it for Blanton. One lets MLB fans dig into the game with unlimited LTE data on their smartphones. Show us how you're baseball's #1 fan by using #UnlimitedBaseball for a free MLB Shop gift code. A chance to win tickets to every 2017 World Series game. Leaning back from ball 1 up and in. Anthony Rizzo against Louis Avalon, who takes over, and he is the 5th pitcher of the night for Dave Roberts and the Dodgers.
It's good action on a 2-seam fastball. You saw it right there. Rizzo saw it high and tight.
Looming large over the last few innings is that man. It will be Lester to go back out there with Gonzalez, Puig, and Peterson, the hitters. There's a 1-1. How about that? A bunt base hit for Rizzo against the shift. Second hit of the night. They're giving it to him, and Anthony Rizzo just took it.
Absolutely. Why not? This is the one thing I still can't understand, especially when it matters this much. Base runners, runs, late. The same thing that the Cubs are giving the Dodgers, a base and a stolen base that they have only taken once. The Cubs and Rizzo take that bunt and we'll be happy with it.
Yeah, you think about bunts in this series alone, all the showings of the bunts by the Dodgers in tonight's game. Now Rizzo gets a bunt base hit, and the guy at the plate, Ben Zobrist, started a 4-run rally last night with the Cubs down 2-1 with a bunt base hit down the third base line. 4 runs later, the Cubs had life. All the while, Lester has thrown 95 pitches and has powered along. Dave Martinez, bench coach for Joe Maddon. That's down.
Well, like I said, it started early for Lester with about a 35-minute warm-up in the bullpen when, let's not forget how hot it was, and the sun was in his bullpen, not in the other. He has been grinding ever since. Every time he gets into the dugout, he's thinking about the next 3 outs and the next 3 guys he's facing. He knows how important the 7th inning is. So I would say that this, as you watch right here, and I was watching him warm up, and he was toweling himself off because that little area gets really warm, by the way. And he knows that this next inning, the grind factor will be the highest. Used to say every game you pitch in the postseason will be the longest game of your life. There's no guarantees you get another one.
A lot of room on the right side of the infield for Zobrist, as the count has gone to 3-0. And Zobrist can handle the bat. Right now we'll see what he's doing on 3-0.
You got one of the hotter hitters behind you too. Pass the baton on to Baez.
That wasn't close. And after the bunt base hit, a walk on 4 pitches to Zobrist. Baez coming up. Pedro Baez in the bullpen for the Dodgers.
I was waiting to see if we were going to have a Baez versus Baez matchup. And I think this is a little bit of stall factor right here for Rick Honeycutt, because Baez is not ready. And so a good chance for him to come out there and talk a little bit. They give him about 20-30 seconds when they start walking out of the dugout, do the umpires. They put a clock on the pitching coaches for this reason, to make sure it doesn't last much longer than that.
Runners on at first and second, only 1 out. And as John Smoltz said, the red hot Javier Baez coming up. He doubled to start the 4th inning, singled to start the 6th, stole a base, and had the perfect view of a 2-run home run hit by Addison Russell over the wall in more center than left. Now the catcher Ruiz out in front of the plate to give signs to the infield. But there is nobody in this ballpark expecting a bunt.
No.
That's 5 straight from Avalon that have missed.
And with each game and with each moment that Baez has been in and now feeling like an everyday player, he has been less anxious and less apt to expand the strike zone. Earlier in his career, that first pitch, he would have come out of his shoes. Now his plan is better. His mechanics are getting better. Joe Maddon moving him into the 5th spot has really paid off.
He fought that temptation until he couldn't do it anymore. And it's worked. There's a strike. And by that I mean Baez was so comfortable in the 7 position. Strikeout rate was such a problem when he came up initially 2 years ago. Better last year, much better this year. Cutting down the leg kick, and he said, I'm leaving Baez alone in that 7 spot. Well, other guys weren't hitting, so he moved him up. And he's been right in the middle of it tonight. Here he is again.
And he's got some huge hits all the way back to the San Francisco series off of Strickland. Hard throwing.
Had the series clinching RBI in game 4. 1-1. Tell you, Joe Madden would have a decision with the next hitter, Hayward. Obviously, you love Hayward's defense. You love the bat of Wilson Contreras. Right now, the focus is on Avalon and Baez. Two and 2.
Good pitch there by Avalon. Changeup. Turns it over a little bit. See the OK change grip. Fadeaway action.
Two on, one out, and a 2-2 count on Javier Baez. That is hooked down the line, foul. Had him reaching for it. Good pitch by Avalon. 2 out, and Hayward will walk to the plate. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by AT&T, mobilizing your world, and by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM.
Well, with the lead, there's no reason to really pinch hit if you want to keep your defense in Howard. And I think he would prefer this matchup than have Baez come in and face a right-hander off the bench. So I think Joe sticking with the defense and hoping that the pitch selection of Avalon can work out in Hayward's favor.
Jason Hayward, big chance here, takes a ball inside. Jason has struck out twice, 1 for 14 in this NLCS. You and Matt Vasgersian talked about it during the division series. A frustrating regular season, even a frustrating LCS, can all be erased for Jason Hayward with a big hit.
One big hit in the right spot.
Meanwhile, the count goes to 2-0.
Luis thought that first pitch was right down the middle. Jason 6'5".
Strike one. Good pitch.
We have such great feel for that pitch that he can go to it. Usually you don't want to go to it against left-handers with the type of velocity that he could throw his fastball against Hayward, but looked like a hanger, I'm sure, to Hayward, and he just took it and it was a strike.
Avalon trying to keep it a 2-run game. 2-2. The hands backing out of play. The Dodgers in the bottom of this 7th inning after the stretch will have Gonzalez, Puig, and Peterson. 6, 7, and 8. It's just a 2-run game.
Hayward actually on the year 3rd best on the starting lineup with 2 strikes at a 209 average. Be awfully tempting here if Avalon wants to go down with an off-speed pitch. He's got Hayward the last 2 swings off the fastball, fouling him off.
Full count and the runners will go.
That's what he did. He just really forced it down, trying to concentrate on keeping that changeup down, and he just spiked it.
So now a head start for Rizzo, the runner at second, and Zobrist, the runner at first. With a full count and 2 out.
You could go right back to that pitch. If you think he's going to stay aggressive, which he has on previous 3-2 pitches, you can go right back to it. Otherwise, fastball, upper part of the strike zone.
Pop up on the infield. Foul ball, Ruiz. And it's 7th inning stretch time at Dodger Stadium. Gonzalez, Puig, Peterson coming up for the Dodgers, who trail by 2. Lester's been terrific. He pitches into the 7th inning here tonight. Knocking on the door of 100 pitches, deals with Adrian Gonzalez up by 2. The bunt, hard to second. Baez, safe. And now the Cubs are going to see if they want to challenge. What a play by Baez. What a bunt by Gonzalez.
Well, Baez had to come 90 feet in as deep as he's playing, and this is all that Gonzalez had to do was get it by Lester, and he had a good chance to get a hit.
And they're going to give it a look. They're going to challenge it. Let's take a look before they get to the headsets.
Awfully close. Umpire listening for that sound.
Looks like he's out. But again,
it's close.
Is it clear? Back of the glove, foot in the air. That should be an out.
I'm letting you handle these for the rest of the way.
Why? Because you're scared now?
No. I'm 0 for 1.
That is an safer out. And I think this call is going to be, personally, I think this call is going to be reversed. That is an incredible play by Javier Baez.
No doubt. To come in the speed he was coming in, bare-handed throw. He's coming from a long way in, and he gets his bare-handed throw in one motion. Incredible. That is not hard, and you got to, as Rizzo, anticipate where that ball's going to be coming from.
Out. And Gonzalez is in essence 0 for 2 in the replay department.
Well, that's the right idea. Gonzalez absolutely executed perfectly. You tip your hat to a guy who made an incredible play. And for Jon Lester, what a relief. Because the only guy that matters in the 7th inning in a 2-run lead is the leadoff guy. That play right there.
Now Puig, strike 1.
Because you literally get to this point in the postseason game knowing what's behind you, and you only think one hitter at a time. You don't even think about anything else. Even if the manager comes and gets you, you're only concerned about one hitter at a time. You really slow it down at this point.
Puig 0 for 2. Fouls it away. Ken Rosenthal, give us more on Baez.
Well, Joe, the Cubs drafted him with the 9th pick overall in 2011. And Tim Wilkin, their scouting director at the time, told me there were times in the draft room when I had doubts, times that I just went with the consensus. But this was the one time I wasn't going to listen to anyone else. There was something about Javi. What was it? All the things we're seeing, the savvy, the instincts. And Wilkin also said that he could almost envision Baez when he was in high school creating plays in his backyard that he would use 10 to 15 years later. Well, the Cubs took Baez 1 pick after the Indians selected another shortstop from Puerto Rico who also moved to Florida at age 12. That was Francisco Lindor.
We'll see him in the next round. 1-2 pitch. Fought off, fouled off. Out of play. Javier Baez, born in Puerto Rico. Went to North Carolina and then to Jacksonville, Florida. This play is just stunning. And the coming out party for Javier Baez in October of 2016 continues.
Absolutely. He does pretty much everything a dream. He's not utility, but he can play anywhere.
1-2 to Puig. Hard hit into center, but right on Fowler. 2 down. Puig put a charge into that. And the batter will be Jock Peterson. And the bunt is in play with Peterson, even with 2 out. The knock on Baez was the strikeout rate. When he came up in 2014, struck out at over 40% of the time. Then went down to 30%, but only 28 major league games in 2015. This year, down to 24%. So he's gone from 41 plus to 24%. The glove's always been there. And man, is he playing and starring at the right time for the Cubs. That's out of play off the bat of Peterson.
And I don't think people understand how hard of an adjustment he's making, and it's going to take him a time. It's no different for a starter or a reliever trying to make an adjustment. It takes time. We want people to fix things fast, but this guy's gradual approach, along with the game plan that Manny Ramirez has been giving him in the instruction level of the minor leagues, is really helped Baez make these leaps quicker than normal.
And a guy who's naturally left-handed. Javier Baez. Here's the 0-1. Oh! That's a ball.
Yeah, he told us he stopped switch hitting in high school.
But he writes left-handed. He eats left-handed. That's his glove hand, and we've all marveled at how quick that hand is with those tags all year. Right side, base hit. Peterson's on. And the tying run will come to the plate. Yasmani Grandal.
It's a great approach and staying on the ball. Peterson now. Baggio's going to go out there and talk to Lester. Somewhere the discussion's got to be, if he goes, he goes. Don't let Grandal and his power affect, as you see him from the left side off to Arrieta. But I think Bosier's basically going to say, you concentrate only on the hitter right here. And then we'll get the rest after this, meaning the bullpen.
Well, Grandal is a switch hitter. And 23 of his 27 home runs were hit left-handed. We just showed you his one home run this postseason. It was left-handed. But he's off the bench, and he's the tying run at the plate here in the 7th. With Lester up to 104 pitches. Strike one.
See, what ends up happening if you're not going to take the base, right? You got a hitter up there that can see it just as well as Lester sees the gyrations and movements of the base stealer. Take the base.
Oh! Say it again. We're only in the 7th inning. I mean, take the base, try to get the run with a base hit, make it a one-run game.
At this point, you cannot be afraid of anything other than the aggressiveness that you have to keep putting on the Cubs and John Lester.
Oh. 2-1 now on Grandal. It's not in the Dodgers DNA. They had 45 stolen bases during the regular season. That was 27th across baseball, but this is a different circumstance. Peterson with a big lead. Here's Baez, and that is 7 innings in the books. And it starts with a brilliant play by Baez. It ends with a routine play by Baez. And since the beginning, it's been John Lester, the 19-game winner, up by 2 after 7.
Hard day, no water, no rest. I saw my chance, so I got him at last.
One of yesterday's heroes is to this point one of today's heroes for Chicago. The 22-year-old shortstop Addison Russell. Pedro Baez takes over. 6th pitcher of the night for the Dodgers. 3-1. Check swing, ground ball. Russell hustling. Gonna be close, safe. Baez couldn't handle the toss.
That's one at first look. Baez would have been better off taking this ball. Russell doesn't get out right away, so Baez can get this ball and field it and run right to the bag. Instead, this is a harder play. It's that in-between play you practice so much in spring training, and there's just no way with that angle and quick toss. He needed to field it, and he needed to field it and then run to the bag, and he would have beat Russell.
It goes down as an error on Baez. And it will bring in Wilson Contreras off the bench, so he'll pinch hit for David Ross. Nice night for David Ross yet again. He can still do it. And he and John Lester, terrific in Game 5. Are they bunting? No sign of it there. Ball 1.
Well, he was really brilliant by being able to go out at the right time, and even when John was flustered and frustrated, calm him down, do the right thing, say the right thing. He knows the buttons to push, and he knows how to get John through a game. He did a great job.
Pitcher spot is next. It'll be another pinch hitter. Almora in the on deck circle. 1-0 pitch. The Contreras hit and run. And Contreras fouls it away. Joe Madden has been aggressive. And after that, getting out of that 7th inning, getting around the 2-out hit, getting the defense from Baez. What a night. 108 pitches. Joe Madden said to us before the game, Lester for 7. Try to have a lead and hand it to Aroldis Chapman for 2. Guess who's up for the Cubs in their bullpen? Chapman.
Top of the order coming up for the Dodgers.
Here's a 1-1. That's a base hit into right. That kid keeps hitting. And it's 2-on with nobody out for the Cubs in the 8th. An error and a single. He's now 7 for 16 this postseason. And 3 for 10 in this LCS. And a broken bat base hit into right. Now Almora.
Now you bunt. Try to get this bunt down so that Turner fields it. If indeed they're bunting.
That's what the Dodgers expect. Good speed on. Strike 1. 97 from Baez. Through the signs goes Gary Jones. Entering 2016, the postseason, no 22-year-old or younger shortstop had ever hit home runs in back-to-back postseason games. Seager has done it this postseason, and Addison Russell has done it this postseason. In this series, both are 22. Madden takes the bunt off and takes, Almora does, inside, ball 1.
I don't know if he took it off or if the young man missed the sign. They're having a little conversation right now. We shall find out if he missed the sign or not.
Well, it's been a long time since they covered the signs in spring training. I would say he missed a sign. If that reaction tells you anything. Dodgers expect the bunt. Almora did not square around as Baez looked back at second. Dodger bullpen is quiet, so this is Pedro Baez's 8th inning. In a jam. And the bunt. Baez misses it and got the out at first. Sacrifice is good. Baez was thinking maybe third base. As that ball was bunted back at him, but Pedro Baez gets the out, and Almora gets the sacrifice.
Yeah, he almost was attacking this like he was bunting for a base hit. He was a late square round, but he got it done. And Baez, last minute, getting the grip anywhere he can, throwing it to first.
It's a sacrifice for Almora, and you can see Baez coming at that bunted ball like he was going to fire it over to third and could not make the connection. But he got the out. The infield will creep in with Dexter Fowler up.
Dexter Fowler likes to work the count. In this situation, I think he's got one thing in mind. Anything up gives him the opportunity to lift it off over the infield and try to get to the outfield grass, or if nothing else, a sac fly. Safety squeeze also in play. Joe Madden has put that in so many teams' head that you got to prepare.
Second and third, one out. Ball 1. Rough night in this situation for each side. The Cubs 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position, and they've left 9 runners on. Dodgers have stranded 5. Ball and a strike.
Good job by Baez, getting it above what he can handle. Of course, Fowler likes that. When he sees it come out of his hands, he thinks that's a pitch he can drive up, but he throws it above what he's capable of getting to.
Fowler 1 for 4 on the night. Led off the game with a single, scored on an RBI double by Rizzo. It was 1-0 Cubs until the bottom of the 4th. Dodgers tied it on a ground out by Adrian Gonzalez. Cubs regained the lead on a 2-run shot by that guy, Addison Russell. Now the runner at third. Strike 2. 99 from Baez.
Fowler asking if that ball was up. Now you have to have a little different approach with 2 strikes, which he will. But see how he's standing up? I'm telling you. Unless you practice that, that's a lot of space I never wanted to see. I was more apt to throw it down at his feet when he'd do that.
Second and third for Fowler, 1 out. Baez looking for the strikeout. Back up top, back at 99, ball 2. Two. Pretty good swing by Fowler. 3 consecutive pitches at 99 from Baez. Baez got into last night's game and allowed a run on 2 hits in 2/3 of an inning. Two big runs sitting out there for Chicago. That's a ground ball fielded by Gonzalez, safe at first. It's 4-1.
This is the toughest play in the world for a pitcher with the infield in. If you go to run across to cover first, you might get drilled with the throw, so you're anticipating that in the last minute. It's too late. So once Gonzalez doesn't come up throwing home with the do-or-die play, he's in no man's land.
It goes as a hit for Fowler and an RBI. And a big one as it advances the runner.
The only thing I'd say there is he was beating him to the punch with the fastball. He went with the slider, and that allowed Fowler to get the barrel of the bat on it and ultimately the Dodgers give up a run.
A little bit of a delay from Gonzalez as he looked home. In to score was Russell, who got a good jump. Gonzalez looked up, nobody was at the bag, and he couldn't win the race. 4-1 in the 8th. First and third, Bryant. Ball 1.
Well, they still got to play it halfway. Do the Dodgers cut down a throw at home if they don't feel like it's hit right at one of the middle infielders to turn 2 or back to the pitcher.
Now Strop is at least up, not throwing. He got warm earlier, but Lester's pitching kept him out in the bullpen.
Yeah, he'll come in this game if the Cubs score a couple more runs, you would think.
Right now, that's up to Bryant and Baez. First and third, one out. Shattered bat. Runner coming to the plate. Another run. Safe at first. 5-1. And the Cubs are killing him softly here in the 8th. We'll see if the Dodgers want to review that. Challenge it. The safe call as Bryant beat the throw for the moment.
Well, the key here is they're making contact, putting pressure on the defense. That's why strikeouts do nothing in these situations. You see Bryant still gets down there pretty good. The front toe gets the front of the bag. Don't know if the Dodgers will even attempt to look at it. Yes, they will.
And they're going to challenge it, and why not? I'm with you. I think by the time the ball hits the back leather of the glove, the left foot of Bryant is hitting the bag. But if you're the Dodgers, you got to review and hope. But to me, he's safe.
Gonzalez maybe a little more of a stretch, but putting the ball in play in crucial situations. For whatever team that goes on to the World Series, that's going to be huge against Cleveland's bullpen, by the way, who can basically shut you down from the 5th inning on.
Baseball's got to touch the leather, and the call is safe. And the Dodgers had to give it a shot. Good call by the first base umpire, Ted Barrett. 5-1 game. Still 2 on, 1 out. And Anthony Rizzo at the plate. Base hit for Bryant. And an RBI, his first RBI of the night. And the lead is 4.
I think one more run changes the mind of Chapman coming in.
If there's been an Achilles heel for Aroldis Chapman in the postseason, it's coming in unclean innings, coming in with men on. So you start the 8th inning with him, that's one thing. But if you go with Strop and he gets into trouble and now you're back in that spot, it's all bouncing around inside the mind of Joe Madden right now. Biggest lead of the night. Chance for more with Rizzo. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rizzo with a bunt base hit in the 7th against the left-hander Avalon. Gets a chance to produce a run or 2 for the Cubs here in the 8th. One pitch. That is slashed foul into the seats. Strike 2.
Gonna wish Baez luck when if they ever go to a pitcher's clock. He's got a lot of working to do to change the tempo between pitches. Great arm, live arm. get your defenders on their heels and just sitting for a long time. And we've seen 2 of them already, 2 plays that were in between plays.
.98 from Baez. That's the evidence of the good arm.
It just zaps your energy from the guys who are in the field. A play that Turner had to make, a play that Gonzalez, you see them, they've learned how to deal with the mannerisms of Pedro Baez when he is patiently in between pitches trying to get it done.
So the count stays 1-2. The Dodgers in the bottom of this 8th inning will have the top of the order. Kike Hernandez, Justin Turner, Corey Seager against either Pedro Strop on the left or Aroldis Chapman on the right. The winner of this game is up 3-2 with the series back in Wrigley on Saturday night. Game 6. Kershaw and Hendricks. Good block by Ruiz. There's Hendricks. And you know what Kershaw looks like. Kershaw will be pitching for the 4th time over 12 days. Didn't want to push it. He missed 2 months with a bad back. Rush him back into a Game 5 start tonight. Here's a 2-2. That's hit on a line. Hernandez gets the double play. And Fowler says, let's look at that. And Joe Madden says, we don't even need to check with our clubhouse. Look at it right here. So we're going to have another review. A little delay by Hernandez. And he is clearly safe. Hernandez looked at first initially, and that's what cost him the out at second.
Yeah, Gonzalez way off the line.
Well, this should be a quick review. The Dodgers saw it on the replay board, and they're all walking back out to their positions. The safe call is given. 2 on, 2 out. For those of you who may just be joining us, this is the big swing. This game was so intense through 5 innings. The Cubs had missed opportunities. The Dodgers had as well. John Lester was sensational. 7 innings, 1 run, 5 hits, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk, and that came against the first batter he faced. Addison Russell, a 2-run shot tonight, a 2-run shot last night as he breaks loose. The Cubs 1, 2, 3 hitters doing damage, and the runners in scoring position numbers getting a little better for the Cubs. The Dodgers tonight 0 for 4. The batter will be Zobrist with 2 on and 2 out. And Baez steps off. The Dodgers are obviously aware of Pedro Baez, and it's something we talked about with Dave Roberts. I mean, there's a fine line between, there is no pitch clock now, so how much do you want to bother him? His stuff is that good. Put him in hurry-up mode.
Oh, it's coming. Pitch clock's coming.
1-0 to Zobrist. There's a strike. But it's this stuff, glove off the hand, and it's the kind of stuff that the front office, Major League Baseball, by Commissioner Rob Manfred, looking at ways to expedite these games. 2-1.
make a you can make a rule where after you deliver a pitch and no action, you can't leave the dirt. Keep him around the mound.
They're trying to keep guys in the batter's box.
Yeah.
Okay, 2-1 pitch. Runners on at first and second. Now 3-1 with Mr. Baez on deck. That is Tom Ricketts, the chairman, the head man with the Cubs. So involved, grew up a Cubs fan. This organization is built to win now and for years to come, and a good mix of veteran players, young players, players in the pipeline. Leo Epstein, Jed Hoyer in the front office. That's down. And that'll load the bases. So this is not a one-year deal. And this is a Cubs team that got to the NLCS last year, got swept by the Mets. Different story here in 2016. Dave Roberts has seen enough. With Baez coming up, even with a right-hander on the mound. Ross Stripling is coming in. Cubs a chance for more. They put up 2 and lead by 4 in Game 5.
I've ever been around.
Some of the plays he makes, you just look at it like, did that really just happen?
He's a star, man. He's a baller. I think he could take my job as a catcher if he wanted to.
He's been doing it since postseason baseball started here in 2016, and here he is with a chance to have a monster game. 2 for 4 already, bases loaded, 2 out. Javier Baez against Ross Stripling. Ball 1 up and away. Stripling pitched in last night's game, went 1/3 of an inning, allowed 3 runs on 4 hits. And there are his numbers in 4 games this postseason. Starter reliever this year for the Dodgers. Good young arm. 8th man to bat in the inning. Two and 0.
Well, in a perfect world, when Dave Roberts has gone to his pen in games like this, they have been more times than not very good. But this is the problem when you don't get depth out of your starting rotation. You're asking guy after guy to be perfect initially when they come in.
2-0 to Baez. And that's even more the case when the guy on the other side is hanging up zeros, which is what John Lester did. 7 innings, 1 run, 5 hits, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk, 108 pitches, and in line for a hard-earned victory if the Cubs hang on. There's Kershaw. He'll get the ball on Saturday. Hard hit deep into right. Back at the wall. It's up against. 3 runs are going to score. Baez is going to hold at second. And the Cubs have blown it open. Baez limps. Baez hurt himself. It's 8-1. Baez put the brakes on between second and third. And I think it's when that occurred that he injured himself. It's a 7-run game, but the bigger concern for the Cubs is their new star.
As you mentioned, he crushes this to right field. He had shown signs before of a little bit of a limp running to first. Right there is when I thought he was going to go 3.
Just going back to the bag. And he stays out there. Javier Baez, what a night. 3 hits, now 3 RBIs and a run scored. And Chapman sits down. The Cubs have been deadly with the bases loaded this postseason. 4 for 4 plus a sacrifice fly. And 12 driven in. 1-0 to Hayward. A fly ball on the infield. Kike Hernandez hauls it in. The Cubs bat around in the 8th. And they are 6 defensive outs away from a 3-games-to-2 series advantage. Here comes Strop. Dodgers bat in the 8th, down 7. Here's Pedro Strop in a swing and a miss, strike 1 to start the bottom of the 8th inning. Strop has allowed 1 earned run in under 3 innings throughout this postseason. So he is fresh and ready to go. A couple of changes for the Cubs, who lead by 7. Almora stays in the game. He's in left. Wilson Contreras does the catching. Zobrist is out of the game. Baez, by the way, is still in there, despite him limping back to the bag after that bases clearing double. Still not jogging around without a limp, by the way. But Zobrist is out of there, and the pitcher will bat in the number 4 spot. Andrew Toles pinch hitting here for Hernandez. 2-2. Toles has been a nice find. Little quick pitch and a grounder foul outside first. Pedro Baez in the top of this inning allowed 5 runs, 1 of them unearned, in 2/3 of an inning.
Yeah, Toles has been really incredible when you think about what he's done, and he's been in the middle of their run scoring situations.
There's a well hit ball into right center field over the head of Hayward off the wall. And Toles is into second with a double. Good start to the 8th inning for the Dodgers. Successful pinch hitting appearance for Toles. 5 for 10 in this series. And the batter will be Justin Turner. Turner tonight 1 for 3, a single and a steal back in the 3rd. Struck out, lined out against Lester. Turner down to first, 2 on, nobody out.
Shortstop, number 5.
Strop reacted immediately as if to say that was unintentional. Clearly not in this situation. Are you hitting anybody intentionally? But that doesn't make it feel any better for Justin Turner.
Yeah, certainly above the pad, right? So that's not going to feel good on the flight over to Chicago. And Strop's got that wild arm action, and when he's good, he's really good. And when he's not, he can lose the ball like that and have his control and be a factor.
So Chapman has to get back up despite a 7-run lead. Seager now. Strike 1. Corey Seager tonight has 2 more hits, had 3 2 nights ago. The 22-year-old star shortstop 1 ball, 1 strike. Last night was hitless, but he's had 5 hits since this series got to LA. Contreras scoops it, 2-1. Kenta Maeda started a long time ago, went 3 2/3 innings, allowed 1 run on 3 hits. Here comes a 2-1. 2-2.
Maeda actually did a great job when you think about it. Keeping the 1 run in the first is all he gave up. Some big strikeouts with runners on, and then they turned it over to the bullpen. Bullpen could not hold down the 4th.
2 on, nobody out. That will lead Russell to the back for the double play. And with a runner at 3rd and 2 out, we go to Kevin Burkhardt for a game break. Like to be in on that conversation between those 3 guys. We look forward to hearing what all 4 of you have to say after this game. And Ken Rosenthal and Tom Verducci will be a part of the coverage. The score right now is not indicative of how tight and thrilling this game was through 7. Here's a high fly ball into left center. Back at the wall. It's off the wall. And Ruiz has an RBI double. 8-2 here in the 8th.
Fastball that he decides he's just going to go after the first one he sees and finds the gap. He might have thought he might have got that one. Had to hurry up at the last minute to get this double.
Now it's Kendrick with Adrian Gonzalez on deck. Strop may be pitching to stay in the game right here. Strike 1.
Probably not a ton of games that Strop has been in a 7-run lead. Sometimes can tilt your focus just a little bit.
Good block by Contreras, a ball and a strike. Lester went 7. Strop trying to turn in the 8th. 1 run is on the board. 2 runs for the night for the Dodgers, down by 6. Here is a 1-1 pitch. Strike 2. In-game box score for the Dodgers brought to you by T-Mobile One. A couple of hits tonight for Corey Seager. Just bounced into a double play. The only one with more than 1. Gonzalez on deck was robbed of a leadoff bunt base hit on an incredible play by Baez in the 7th in a 2-run game. That should end the inning. That's into right. Hayward is there. And game number 5 goes into the 9th inning. Cubs will bat, leading by 6. Is sponsored by Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who go the extra mile. By Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. 9th inning. 8-2 game. And Addison Russell, who has the biggest swing of the night, steps in. He was at the plate in a 1-1 game. Runner at 2nd, 1 out. Hayward had just struck out, and Russell went deep and did it off Joe Blanton.
Well, if you'd have said the top of the 6th, 1-1 game, Clayton Kershaw's not pitching, and you got him pitching in game 6, you'd feel pretty good if you're the Dodgers. You got everything you wanted, and then the bullpen can keep it right there. Well, the game didn't turn that way, so now all eyes are going to be on Kershaw in game 6. It is definitely must-see TV. It's going to be one of those games that both Hendricks and Kershaw have to be at their best.
Be interested to see how Kyle Hendricks handles the big stage. There's a young man on the right, Clayton Kershaw. He's no stranger to postseason pressure. His win that he got in Game 2, when he went 7 shutout innings in that 1-0 victory, was his first win in the LCS round. 1-3. He's been so good this postseason. That's high and tight, a full count.
Well, I watched Kershaw today earlier do his workout. This guy's one of the best you've ever seen, not only off the field, on the field, and being prepared. All the things he had to do to get back, and now, by the looks of it, trying to keep his team in a position to get to Game 7.
Another hit for Russell. Red hot as he's on base for the 3rd consecutive time. 2 hits tonight. He reached on an error. 3 hits last night, and a pair of 2-run homers in Games 4 and 5. Here's Kershaw earlier this afternoon about 1 o'clock. Just practicing. No baseball in his hand, just working on his delivery. Well, baseball, but not throwing it. We saw him throw on the side yesterday, which was really the telltale sign that there was no doubt Kershaw was not going to work Game 5. Safe at first as Contreras hit another rocket, this time right at Kendrick, who's moved into second base. Andrew Tolles, who pinch hit and doubled in the bottom of the 8th, is in the game and left, and Contreras can come back and only smile after hitting that ball right on the screws. Kendrick at second, Tolles in left. 1 on, 1 out here for Almora.
The Dodgers against the Nationals were down 2 games to 1. Of course, Kershaw pitched that game to force a Game 5, and then we all know he wasn't available for Game 5 and became available and got the save.
Almora with the runner at first, 1 out. Good pitch from Stripling. Tom Verducci, more on that bullpen session for Kershaw.
Yeah, I call it shadow pitching. Clayton likes to do that twice in between starts. What he does is he'll visualize who he's pitching to, but the main point is it's a way for him to really perfect those mechanics, to repeat the delivery over and over again without the strain of actually throwing a baseball.
Also gives him the chance to rock a pretty killer tank top. So there you go. He keeps the baseball in the glove as he shadow pitches out in the bullpen. He's been so fun to watch since the second he got to the big leagues. And he'll be fun to watch on Saturday night.
Good thing there weren't cameras way back. All the stuff we used to do. You can't really do anything at a ballpark right nowadays without cameras on you, but I know my job is to broadcast the game, but I can't help but tell you how much it's enjoyable to watch him pitch a game.
Left side, Turner out at second. Well turned. Kendrick can still do it. Bottom of the 9th inning rolls in. Game 5. Last chance for the Dodgers. Cubs lead it 8-2 in Game 5. Well, you know they're happy back in Chicago. Cubs are 3 outs away from taking a 3-2 advantage back home to Wrigley Field for Game 6 on Saturday night. This is the opportunity Joe Maddon is taking to get Aroldis Chapman into the game. He hasn't pitched since Game 2.
Yeah, and it's a good move because you got to keep him as fresh as possible without overworking them, and then of course you've got the luxury to use them for 2 innings on Saturday if you want to because of the day off.
Adrian Gonzalez is 0 for 3 with an RBI groundout. Four out of 18 in this LCS is Gonzalez. And Chapman. It's to deal to the left-hander. 98 that misses, according to the home plate umpire Alfonso Marquez. Two and 0. Adrian Gonzalez was the hitter when he tried to bunt his way on back in the 7th, and Javier Baez robbed him with a barehanded pickup. There's a strike. 2-1. If you're just joining us, it was a big play. It was a 2-run game at that time.
See where Baez is now. They're not playing him to pull because the guy throws 100.
Strike 2. Cubs made the deal with the Yankees to get Chapman in season. And they made the deal without having to give up Kyle Schwarber, who was their slugger, who tore his ACL the 4th game of the season. And the Cubs brass cannot wait to get him back in this lineup next year.
Yeah, should make a full recovery.
That's ball 4 inside. Go back to that play that Javier Baez made in the 7th and give you a StatCast look at it.
That -33.33 is because once he saw the barrel of the bat go to a bunt, he had a running start and cheating in. That's why you see a negative reaction time.
It's powered by Amazon Web Services, and StatCast tells us that Baez covered 56 feet. And then had the athletic ability to reach down with a bare hand, pick it up, fire to first, and get the out. It was initially called safe and then challenged. The call was overturned. Well, here's Chapman, and he walks the leadoff man. You know, Madden wants to get him work, but he doesn't also want to wear him out in a 6-run game, and it wouldn't take much for the Dodgers to have a little life here in the 9th inning as the count goes to 2-0.
Well, he's taken this opportunity to work on his slider. We haven't seen many sliders, and certainly with a 6-run lead, he chose to throw a 3-2 slider to Gonzalez. So
now they're getting on Marquez. I think Contreras may have said something. Marquez is down in his ear, and Joe Madden is yelling at Marquez from the dugout. That's into right field. It's going to get down. Hayward cuts it off. It'll be 1st and 3rd with nobody out. A walk and a single. And the Dodgers make 9th inning noise.
Center fielder number 31, Jock Peterson.
Puig, seeing him multiple times earlier in the series. Gonzalez trying to tell Puig to shorten and lighten the grip. Well, this time it worked.
Remember, Chapman was up while Pedro Strop was getting loose in the bullpen, and on the other side, Pedro Baez was taking his time when he was working, eventually allowing 5 runs, 4 earned. So he's been up and down a couple of times. I'm sure the last thing he was thinking about is now the fastball comes out from Chapman. Was getting into this game, but I know you well enough, and I know you alluded to it. It's a fine line for these closers. You got to keep them sharp, and him sitting the entire time this series is in LA. Not a good idea for the Cubs.
Not at all. It's been 4 or 5 days before he gets into action.
Fouled back by Peterson with a runner Puig taking second. He'll have to come back. On deck is Reddick.
And the only negative, of course, in a game like this is you just give the Dodgers a few more looks at Chapman, and that's why I think he was trying to work on his slider a little bit, give him a little wrinkle. But the 3-2 slider to lead off with Gonzalez is probably not the wisest of decisions.
He walked him. Puig with a base hit into right, and now an 0-2 count on Jock Peterson. To the shortstop. The flip. And no turn. Gonzalez stayed put at third.
Well, his run doesn't mean anything, so I'm making sure. Probably could have easily gone home, but when you're down 6, what's the difference? Make sure.
It'll be Josh Reddick now coming off the bench. He'll bat for Stripling.
Difference is Peterson didn't get an RBI.
Ball one inside, and we've seen more fastballs from Chapman. We did to Peterson, and now the first pitch to Reddick. He was 6 for 22 this postseason. He'll be in the lineup, you would have to believe, on Saturday night against the right-hander Kyle Hendricks. It'll be a much different looking lineup for the Dodgers. That is hit hard into the gap in right center. It's down. 1 run scores. Going first to third is Peterson. And it's an 8-3 game. Right down the middle. And another left-hander, Andrew Toles, will be the batter. There have been times this postseason where Aroldis Chapman has looked hittable and has been hittable.
Well, he looks more bothered by the score and getting in than he does about bearing down and ending it. Right here, you could see he was a little perturbed by the visits at the mound.
Here's Toles, ball 1.
Like I said, it's always, as a closer, you're so in the high intensity, adrenaline driven scenarios. You can't create it when it's not there, but you've got to find a way.
Here's one pretty well hit left center, but Fowler is there, tagging and coming to the plate. With the run is Peterson. It's 8-4, but 2 out. Sac fly for Toles. Brought the Dodgers down to their final strike. Final out.
I can promise you, his body, the way we're reading his body right now will be so much different when it's that 1 or 2 run game. Right now, it's just not the same intense Chapman.
So the Cubs are 1 out away from a 3-2 series advantage before heading home. Cubs fly out tonight after the game. The Dodgers tomorrow. Strike 1 as Reddick takes second. They do give a stolen base to Reddick. Pitch was a strike to Turner. Dodgers need 2 more base runners to have a chance. Strike 2. Number 3 hitter Seager next. A lot of Cub fans here. Cubs get a ground ball to short. Russell, 3-2. As they take Game 5, 8-4 over the Dodgers. And a little conversation between Alfonso Marquez and the young catcher Wilson Contreras at the back end of it. And that postseason fact, teams to win Game 5 when the series tied 2-2. Throughout the history of the postseason in best-of-7 series, have gone on to win the series 70% of the time. And it's a 4-hour, 16-minute game. Joe Maddon, after his team dropped game number 3 on the heels of a loss in Game 2, they win back-to-back and lead 3-2. A win away from the 2016 World Series. Kevin, guys, all yours.